7 fucking months. I go, you know what, that one looks cool. So I bought that, and then I went in to get it, that service, and it was the exact same car a year later, but I like the newer color, the newer gray.
Oh.
That gray, that whatever weird gray.
Like a slate gray?
Yeah, it's like,
Nice.
it looks good. I said, you know what, fuck, give me this car. So I traded
So you
it.
keep swapping them out?
Yeah.
They must love you.
Yeah, I'm such a mooch. On one year of my wife's birthday, I bought myself a new car. On her birthday, I bought a BMW on her birthday. I went, happy birthday. We could drive around in this.
Oh my God.
I
That
mean-
probably played off well.
Fuck. I buy her cars. So, you know,
So now
I
you buy
get
diamonds.
bored easy. And it's because of, you know, in life, really, like, I see some of my friends doing arenas, doing this, doing that, but I have enough. I really have enough, but it's not enough. You know what I'm saying? Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yeah.
I think for my not for my personal life, I got 3 fucking great daughters, 3 grandkids, another one on the way. My 7-year-old's gonna go to college, has pick of all kinds of schools, you know, good schools. I fucking, in 11th grade, I raised my hand to go to the bathroom, and I never came back. I just walked out, like I'm a fucking idiot, you know. My past, and my kids all grew up. Okay, the older one married a black guy, but he's light skinned. But anyhow, the prettiest baby on the planet. So I have enough. But when it comes to career as a comic, you know, there's like one more fucking thing. Just one more thing. You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying.
I don't know what it is. You know, I've had specials, not Netflix, but it's like I'm always doing the other club.
Right.
You know what
I
I'm
see what you're
saying? I'm always, and I'm very blessed, and I love what I've achieved in this business, but it seems like it's always like, okay, I got a special on Amazon now, but it wasn't, Amazon didn't buy it, we placed it on that, you know what I'm saying? So there's always one little thing, when every pilot my wife and I have had together, I've had, gets this close to getting picked up, you know? Like, I've heard, some of the no's I've heard, they almost sounded like yeses. They were such good no's. I walked out and go, that was the best no today. That fucking no almost felt like a yes. So, in this business,
Do you think you put something in your mind to make all these things kind of fall short? Have you ever thought of that?
well, that's what my wife says.
Yeah. Do you ever thought that, like, maybe the way you interface with the world is like your expectations are tempered, like in a way where you almost want to fail because it's more comforting that it happened again, rather than this new thing of success, which is going to force you to really focus and work harder to get more success. And it's a lot of pressure. And then you think about all the times you fucked up before, and you don't want to hear no again. You don't want to hear it, but you feel like it's coming, and you almost make it come.
Well, I get that. In life, growing up from my childhood through drug addiction, I became comfortable being uncomfortable. That was my life.
Right. Comfortable being in the skids.
Yeah, this was what I was
Yeah.
used to. In this business, I don't really ever set myself up for failure. I mean, I produce, I come up with albums, on stage, I'm always coming up with new material, and I got 7 albums. I'll probably make an 8th album, which is it's a lot for a career, I would
Sure.
imagine.
Yeah, it's great.
I don't go into clubs and drink. I don't hit on waitresses, you know, so I don't know. But my wife says the exact same thing you're saying. My wife said to me once, she said, because I have this power of thinking, like when I think really hard, it comes to me, shit, right? And my wife goes, if you think you deserve $1 million, you'll get $1 million. And I said, God gives you what you need, not what you want. And then she said, you think Chelsea Handler needed a TV show? So she kind of like debunked my whole need, you know, and want thing. If you believe in some kind of power greater than you or spiritual, I'm not religious by any fucking, but shit comes to me. I don't think I fucking screw things up. I don't screw things up like, you know, in meetings or pilots or whatever. I do what I'm supposed to do, so I don't know. I mean, in comedy, yeah, for years, I might have been a little aggressive on stage or, you know, a little whatever. You know, I think everything now, well, especially now with clubs or whatever, it's all numbers. They don't give a fuck if you light the great staff on fire. You sold out the room. Oh, great, you were fabulous. You know, I was working Catch years ago. I was at Catch, and Bill Hicks. Okay, so David Brenner's on stage, and they love David Brenner. He's killing it. It's during the peak of David Brenner. He gets off. Bill Hicks goes up, and he says, growing up as a kid, I would see Robert Klein and David Brenner, and I figure if they could do it, I could do it. That was his opening. So now he's doing his bit about Nancy Reagan, skinny, whatever, and calling her the anti. I mean, people are running out the door. They're running out the door. And then he gets off stage, and he says to me, he goes, what went wrong? But I swear to God, he goes, what went wrong?
Was he serious?
Yes.
Or was he joking around?
No, he was whatever. He was Bill, I don't know.
It's hard to tell with him.
Yeah. But anyhow, the manager or booker, now after they said to him, you can come and do a spot here anytime you want, because he was Bill Hicks. You see what I'm saying? He was Bill Hicks. You know, I worked with him in Texas. It's when I first started, and I'm watching him, you know, and we'll get back on track. I'm sorry to go off on these things.
Go
but,
wherever you want to go.
So we're working in Texas. He just breaks up. His girlfriend breaks up with him at the time. It's a true story. So he goes, where can you get a hooker, a prostitute? And the cab driver.
I like how you have clarified.
Yeah, I know. That's, you know, there's a lot of these young kids now that listen, okay? A hooker, a prostitute, okay? So the cab driver takes him to one house, because they would take you to and I go with him. He goes, take a ride. So then we go to one house. She knocks on the door, and she opens the door and goes, you're a cop, and slammed the door on him. Slammed the door, slammed the door in his face.
He looks like a cop.
Then he went, but he also, the next place the cab driver took him,
Can't find it. We can't prove you have it. We can't prove you don't have it. So how are we going to treat it?
What's this culture of victimization and the monetization? It's like there's status in victimization. You know,
Yeah.
that's the thing. They've essentially made it like a virtue to be a victim. So you're looking for little things that have possibly. I believe there was a microaggression.
I think, you know what? I think I felt it.
Possibly rolled his eyes.
Possibly rolled
I mean, that is gonna haunt me. I need therapy now. I think he might have rolled his eyes.
And that's absolutely acceptable.
That is a microaggression, like maybe rolling your eyes. Like you say something to me and I go, okay. And then I leave. Oh my God, that was a microaggression.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
what I just did going, okay.
But
That's
here's the cool thing,
microaggression.
is you're kind of off the hook, because if you didn't intentionally create the microaggression, I just perceived it as
Depends
a
on who I am. If I'm a white heterosexual
then-
cis male,
then you're screwed.
I got problems.
Then you're screwed. So anyway, back to the food supply. We took a U-turn there for a second. What's really interesting is if you just take a very 30,000 foot view and you say, let's just look at the broad strokes in the blue zone research, right? There's no continuity between diets in these blue zones. So it's not keto, paleo, pescatarian, vegan, vegetarian, raw food, Atkins. It's whole food, just what you were just saying.
Whole food and a lot of healthy lifestyle.
Whole food, well, the two things that were non-interchangeable were sense of purpose and community and activity until later in life. So you didn't have any of the blue zones where people didn't feel a sense of purpose and community in life. In fact, there were no such things as assisted care living facilities. You know, assisted care in those countries is mom and dad moved back in with the kids until the day that they die. And there's a lot to be said for that, because maybe grandma's only purpose is to go out and get vegetables for dinner that night, but she has a purpose.
And she's a part of the community.
And she's also
not locked up in a home with a bunch of people who don't really care about her.
Yeah. You know, we knew something in the mortality space, because I used to study mortality and mortality research. And we knew that if you wanted to cut somebody's life expectancy in half at any age, and I mean at any age, you put them in isolation. So as soon as you create isolation, you dramatically reduce, if not half, the life expectancy. Now, later in life, we would call this broken heart syndrome, caregiver syndrome, and these were actually very valid syndromes. So if we actually were doing the life expectancy on an elderly spouse who was still applying for insurance, or we were looking at what's called a second to die claim on life insurance policy, and one spouse had passed away, we would dramatically reduce the life expectancy of the second spouse. And the reason why that's important is I think that people don't realize that we are actually being isolated in plain sight, right? I mean, we are trying to create connection through our phones, we're trying to create connection through social media, and these are not human connections. In fact, you know, if you look at the rates of depression, suicide, suicidal ideation, obesity, you know, chronic mental illness, and I think we actually have a chronic lack of mental fitness, not necessarily a mental illness crisis in this country. And if you look at the skyrocketing rates of these conditions and how they are creeping into younger and younger and younger generations, you've got 9-year-olds being treated for depression now, right? So what's happening? What's happening is isolation in plain sight. You know, we don't problem solve anymore. We don't have communities with our friends anymore. We actually don't build social connections. We've lost our connection to Mother Nature. You know, that's why I like going out to my place in Colorado. It's probably like you like bow hunting. It's just nature. Old school connection to Mother Nature. And how freaking good do you feel?
Yeah, it's very, very good. I really wish I lived in nature. I'd really like to live in the woods again.
I'm working on it, man. Well, you said you were trying to get something outside of town, like
I think that's the
ranch
move.
kind of.
Yeah, I think nature's a vitamin. I really do. I think it's a mental health vitamin. I think there's something about being in nature. There's a feeling you get, especially when your phone doesn't work. And you get out there and you look at your phone, like 0 bars.
No, yeah.
And you're out there in like real woods. It's just like, you just feel better.
Yeah.
You just feel like more tuned in. Birds and branches snapping. What's going on? Coyotes. And it's like, God damn, it feels good.
We have this place in Colorado. My wife and I, she's been going to for 35 years since she was a little girl. When we got together 10 years ago, she started bringing me and my family out there. Her father's got 10 acres, her uncle's got 10 acres, and then this 50-acre piece came on the market. So we bought it. We're building these old school, like really authentic log cabins on there. And I write about this all the time, because in Miami I have this really fancy place, and I've got all this fancy equipment, you know, Red Lake Derby beds, hiking barracks, hydrogen beds, all this stuff. But I'll go out to this Colorado home, put on a 20-pound rucksack. I know you do a 150-pound rucksack, so I feel like a complete
Most
pussy.
of the time I do 45.
Okay.
This episode is brought to you by Visible. Now you know I tend to go down a lot of rabbit holes. I want to know everything about everything. And if you're like that, you need wireless that can keep up. Visible is wireless that lets you live in the know. It's the ultimate wireless hack. You get unlimited data and hotspot, so you're connected on the go. Plus, Visible is powered by Verizon's 5G network, meaning fast speeds and great coverage. And with the new Visible Plus Pro plan, you get premium wireless without the premium cost. And the best part, it's all digital, no stores. You can switch to Visible right from your phone. It only takes about 15 minutes, and then you manage your plan in the app. Ready for wireless that lets you live in the know? Make the switch at visible.com/Rogan. Plans start at $25 a month. For the best features, get the new Visible Plus Pro plan for $45 a month. Terms apply. See visible.com for plan features and network management details. Sometimes I do it and I carry 2 50-pound kettlebells.
Oh, shit. No, I really...
Yeah.
I'm not even telling the rest
These
of my
are just
story.
short bursts.
Yeah,
This
great.
is not like long distance. No, it's just,
Yeah.
I just do it to tax my system.
Well, I do farmers carries, but
I do that too.
Yeah, farmers
Yeah.
carries. I actually
They're
like
great.
those.
But that's what I mean by
Yeah.
I think farmers carries, like suitcase carries, are actually better. You know,
What, closer
one
to?
hand, one
Oh,
hand.
oh, one hand.
Yeah, because then it makes you balance on the other side, and then you swap it out to the other side.
Oh,
It's a
okay. Yeah.
stabilization.
Yeah,
thing. I've heard from a lot
stabilizing
of
the
people
spine.
that it's
Instead of just
actually better.
Actually, that makes a lot of sense. To
Yeah.
me because you're not just load bearing the spine, which is why I don't squat.
But
or
farmers
anything.
carries are amazing too. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, and I do a lot of farmers carries, but I'll put on this 20-pound rucksack, go out by myself, put a sidearm, in my vest, and go. It was just kind of funny. I took a picture of myself the other day, posted on social media, and I had sidearm. People were bananas because I have a gun.
Yeah, you don't want to get eaten by a mountain lion. It does happen.
Yeah.
It probably won't happen. But guess what? If I have a gun, it's not going to
I
happen.
just feel, it's never going to happen if I have a gun.
There's a fucking great video of a bow hunter who is being attacked by a mountain lion. And the mountain lion is like creeping up on him slowly. He's like, hey, get back, get back, get back. And you see the thing lock on him and start closing in. It's like 15 feet away, and then bang! And then you see the thing twitching, and it's got a hole in its face.
He was a
He
bow
shot
hunter.
it. But he had a pistol on him.
sidearm.
Well, that's why he had a pistol on him.
Yeah, it happens in Colorado. I mean, bear attacks.
It fucking happens. Bear attacks are fairly rare in Colorado.
It's only when you cross the. Apparently, if you just come upon the cubs and the mother.
The
that's
real issue is not the bears that are in Colorado, though. The real issue is the bears in Wyoming and Montana. Brown bears. Brown bears are what you have to worry about. Black bears, not as much. But occasionally, like a big black bear will go after people.
Yeah, but anyway, I take the sidearm and I'll march
should.
around in there. But when I'm done, I feel like I took a limitless bear. Just something. I totally agree with you. Something out there. And I got this little squirrel. It's so funny, man. I leave my house and start climbing up in the woods. I have this little 4-mile kind of track, and there's a squirrel. I don't know if he'll be there this year, but every year that I go out there, he barks at me. Right, and he kind of growls. Doesn't sound like a squirrel. Sounds like a little bark. And then he chews acorns off and grabs them with both hands and throws them down on me. It's so funny. And he'll follow me from limb to limb. I shit you not. And I look forward to seeing him every day. Like I feel like he's pissed off. Maybe it's a sign of love. I don't know.
It's definitely pissed off. He doesn't love you.
Yeah.
Somebody probably hunted one of his family.
He'll take the sidearm.
People do hunt squirrels. They eat them.
But in any case, man, I feel amazing. So, but you're right. At some point, we have the capacity to replace these oils. We actually have a way to get back away from industrial farming and get back to local farming. I have a very good friend named Alfie Oaks. And he owns one of the more profitable grocery stores in America. It's in Naples, Florida, called Seed to Table. And he took me out by helicopter one time, and we hopped around to a bunch of his organic fields. He's got thousands of acres in the middle of the state of Florida. And he showed me how he's not only able to grow produce for less money than he would, organically, for less money than he would grow it if he had to use herbicides and pesticides and chemicals. He's able to pick it at 9 o'clock in the morning and have it on the grocery store shelf by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I watched the whole process go down. Thousands and thousands of these acres. And, white flies are the pest flies they're trying to avoid. And instead of spraying for these white flies, what they do is they just use this reflective cellophane. They run it down the rows of crops, and it creates this reflection, and it scatters them to the woods. And so now the white flies are not eating the crops. There's no herbicide. There's no pesticide sprayed on these. There's no preservatives. His team picks this stuff by 9 o'clock in the morning. It goes into a processing center, and by processing, I mean it gets washed. That's it. And then it's on a truck, and it's on the shelf by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So you can grab a strawberry in this grocery store and eat it, and it was growing at 9 a.m. that morning. And there are mechanisms for us to do that. Yes, I get it. Some stuff needs to be shipped and stored. But most regenerative farming practices are not only green and good for the environment, they're economically feasible. They actually make economic sense. And, when he talks about the fact that we've been spraying some of these fields for so many decades or so many years with these herbicides and insecticides, that there is not a pest for, in some cases, hundreds of miles, but we are still spraying for those pests. It's like you got to start to question what the motivation is.
Yeah. Private financial. And
Private financial.
yeah. you know, it's we're talking about. You said something earlier interesting that you think it's not. What was the term that you used? It's not a mental health problem. It's a lack of mental strength.
Mental fitness.
Mental fitness.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it.
You got any other hydrogens?
Yeah, you want hydrogen.
Baby, come on. Hook it up. I love these. I'm addicted.
I love these too. Yeah.
Explain
you know
to
what?
people what these are. instead
So,
of-
hydrogen gas, I mean, this is probably my favorite biohack in the world because it'll cost you about $1 a day. These are called H2 Tab. You can get them at drinkhh2tab.com. You can actually read the science on it. I think there's two people in the world now. I mean, those that have read the science and take hydrogen gas, drink hydrogen water, and those that don't, or just haven't read the science. Because hydrogen gas, first of all, it's the lightest element in the universe. It's also the most prevalent element in the universe. 10% of your body weight is hydrogen. Think, in fact, if you took hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, and nitrogen, that's 96% of your mass. Okay, those four elements. So hydrogen's about 10% of your body weight. And hydrogen is not just an antioxidant, it's a selective antioxidant. Right, so if you look at oxidative stressors like nitric oxide or superoxide or hydrogen peroxide, okay, so all of these oxidative stressors, they can be good in certain amounts. You need a certain amount of nitric oxide, right, in your body, but too much nitric oxide is bad, too much hydrogen peroxide is bad, too much superoxide is bad. So if you were to take an antioxidant like vitamin C, and take very, very high doses of antioxidants, this can be very bad for you because you're suppressing too much oxidation in the body. You're actually suppressing these oxidative stressors too much. Hydrogen, on the other hand, uses the body's homeostatic process to suppress inflammation. So in other words, it works through something called the NRF2 pathway. It affects a protein called NRF2, moves into the DNA, binds to the DNA, and then the DNA spits out the instructions for catalase, superoxide dismutase, and glutathione. So in other words, you're actually using the body's regulatory system to actually control inflammation instead of externally trying to control inflammation. And the second thing it does is it targets the only oxidative free radical that I think all of the science points to as which is hydroxyl radical, having no use in the body. So it selectively targets that and regulates the rest of the inflammatory process by using the body's homeostasis. So I guess a very long-winded way of saying that hydrogen gas can go anywhere in the body. It reduces inflammation, improves circulation, improves memory. There's a really interesting study published on the Journal of Experimental Gerontology, and it was published in November of 2021. And most, these clinical research studies, they'll look at younger populations, like healthier younger populations. But this actually looked at a 6-month study on hydrogen water versus non-hydrogen water in 70-year-old and older folks. And they used something called TET2 to measure methylation. They measure cognitive function, sleep scores, sit-stand ratios, how well they're able to sit and stand, telomere lengths in their chromosomes. And the really fascinating thing about this study is it was done during COVID. So these seniors were basically imprisoned. So they were not mobile, and the only difference between the groups that they controlled for was the presence of hydrogen water. At the end of this 6-month period, during the lockdown, the control group had lost 11% in their telomeres. The non-control group had gained 4%. They had better short-term recall, better cognitive scores, better circulation, improvement in cardiac markers, improvement in inflammatory markers, like C-reactive protein. I think it's the greatest biohack on earth. That and like some sea salt and some amino acids, like perfect amino, I mean, just covering your bases. I think those are your foundational bases for optimal.
And it's like delicious. Comes
Dude,
in
it's so
good
good.
flavors. It's easy to drink. It's like a pain-free thing that you can do.
You can
Inexpensive.
bathe in it too. You can actually
Really?
bathe in hydrogen gas.
How many tabs do you put in the water?
You can actually put what's called hydrogen bomb, which just looks like a big bath bomb. It just creates hydrogen gas. It's elemental magnesium.
What does it do for you when you bathe in it?
It goes right transdermal. It goes right to the skin. So remember, hydrogen is the smallest, lightest element that we know of, right? So it will go right transdermal. And these hydrogen gas will form in between water molecules. So water molecule is H2O, but hydrogen gas can actually exist outside of the water molecule. And when you put excess hydrogen gas into the water, it will go right transdermal. And, you know, I have 2 of these baths at my house. I never talk about it like, on social media, so maybe I'll talk about it now. But I have literally put people into these tubs. I'm kidding you not. Crippled with arthritis. And they will skip out of my unit like they want water. It's incredible. I mean,
So transdermal reduction of inflammation in joints from these
Yes.
hydrogen bombs.
mhm.
How long does it last?
Or from a hydrogen bath. You can get these machines. I mean, one for your house is about $7,500 to $8,000. They make some that make nanoparticles or nanobubbles, which are about 1/500th the diameter of a human pore. So if you run these things on your face, it'll actually push all the sebum out of your skin. It'll get rid of dandruff, psoriasis, eczema. If you have any kind of inflammatory condition, like knees, hips, shoulder, rotator cuff, arthritis, low back, bathing in hydrogen gas could do one of those therapeutic things you can do.
Really? Can you add it to a cold plunge?
You can add it to a cold plunge. And what's interesting about adding it to a cold, in fact, I use this Cold Life cold plunge, and I've got these guys trying to see if we can incorporate the hydrogen gas into the cold plunge. So where the motor pulls the cold water out, it's going to send it into a hydrogen generator and then push it back into the tub, because as the temperature drops in water, you can saturate more gas. So a 48 degree, we'll quote me exactly on this, but a 48 degree cold plunge will hold about twice as much gas as a 102 degree, warm tub. So if you were like just taking like a warm bath.
Right.
So you're going to be cold plunging for 3 to 6 minutes every day. That's what you and I do. You might as well be in there with hydrogen gas. And so I'm working with these guys from Cold Life to see if we can plumb these hydrogen generators. And basically, it creates the hydrogen gas by taking distilled water, breaking distilled water apart, and then throwing the gas into the water. And it is noticeably different when you bathe in this gas or not. Like I had Sean Ryan over to my house for a podcast one time, and he's all banged up from being a Navy SEAL, and he's got nips and bibbles all over his body. And he just thought it was really weird because I was like, dude, you got to get my bathtub.
This episode is brought to you by Me Undies. Some things are complicated: the human mind, relationships, life. But what's not complicated?
And it was just me, you and her. And I think you just came down from Boston, and I don't think you were living in New York. I think you were just doing some shows, some one-nighters and shit. And we did a one-nighter. Okay, I probably first, it had to be 39 years, but probably like 38 years ago.
That doesn't even make sense because I've been doing comedy for 37 years.
Okay, so then, I was with Bonnie, so yeah, Kelly. So I had, you're right, I had,
That had to be like 1990.
yeah, I had like 4 years clean.
90 was when I first started coming to New York.
Okay.
You were already clean by then?
Yeah. So, and I was already married. So yeah, I had 5 years clean. So it was maybe like 34 years ago, which could fall, or 35.
Okay.
So yeah, we're working a one-nighter, and I remember walking up the street, me, you, and Bonnie, to the boardwalk. Kelly.
Right.
Kelly.
To the boardwalk.
To the boardwalk, and it was just some one-nighter. And then, I don't know if we ever worked again together. Oh, well, Dangerfields, we did some
We
stuff.
did
at
Caroline's together too. I remember
Yeah.
doing Caroline's with you. We did a lot of Dangerfield shows together.
Yeah.
Remember, did we ever do prom shows together?
Yes. Oh, Jesus. And those,
People should know what prom shows are. So New York has a very weird thing where they take kids from like Staten Island and Brooklyn, and they bring them in fucking buses to Dangerfields, and the show would run from like 7 p.m. till 5 in the morning.
no break.
No break. Just you would go one show and you get paid by the show. It was like
Yeah.
it was good money. I forget what it was,
Yeah.
but it was like you get paid by like you can make a couple grand in a night if you did
Yeah.
the whole night. So you do stand up from 7 p.m. to like 5 a.m.
But sometimes some of the shows were some of the same crowd.
Most
Like,
of the shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They didn't move the people out. They just pushed new kids in. and they wanted you to do
Yeah.
the same joke so that the kids would leave. It's the best time to be a basketball fan. All the thrills and playoff drama. Done sitting in the sideline and ready to win some real cash? Well, check out Pick 6 from DraftKings. When it comes to basketball playoffs, DraftKings Pick 6 posterizes the competition, including prize picks. When you hit all your picks, you'll score higher minimum payouts on Pick 6 than flex plays on prize picks. And best of all, you'll win even more cash if you outscore the competition. Track your picks for a shot at huge cash prizes. That's all there is to it. Pick 6 is available in most states, including Missouri, California, Texas, Georgia, and more. Don't settle for a smaller payout. Switch to Pick 6 and cash in your basketball knowledge. New players get 50 in Pick 6 credits instantly on just a $5 entry. Basketball playoffs are here. Cash in with Pick 6 from DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use the code Rogan. That's code Rogan for new customers to play. $5, get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Better payouts, bigger wins, only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
So we were doing proms at Dangerfield, and this is all young kids and getting ready to go to college. And Rodney goes on. He walks on stage in a robe, drunk. He's not doing comedy. He's bumming the crap. He's talking about his divorce or death, and all these guys are just—they're all looking at him like the jury from My Cousin Vinny when they were looking at the stuttering lawyer. Their eyes were just going, what is going on with this man? Wow. Right? And it was the most depressed. And then I think Brian Regan had to follow him. and the fact, I mean, if you look at your career and some of mine and Brian Regan, we were doing prom shows.
Yeah.
There was a contest at Rascals. And I think the winner got to do comedy on a plane.
Right. That was back when they smoked on planes.
Yeah. And I think John Stewart was one of the contestants. Like I remember doing some, or else it was a Johnny Walker competition. I was there. It was like me, John Stewart, Jim Gaffigan, to do some Johnny Walker tour. I don't fucking know, whatever the contest was, but it was all these contests. But you would see. Look, I worked fucking club. Here, I was working one club once, and after the show, it was in Scranton, PA, at a Holiday Inn. Me and another comic. After the show, the owner brings us in the back room and pulls out a gigantic bag of Coke and says, "Do you want Coke or money?" And I took the Coke. And the guy who took the money is Adam Sandler, and look where he is, and look where I am. Adam Sandler took the money, and he opened up. He was a guitar comic, and he opened up.
That was a Nick's Comedy Stop thing, Coke or money.
Oh yeah, I worked in Austin.
Did they offer you Coke or money back then?
I don't, and I was getting high because when I first started comedy, somehow they, what was his name? Dominic and Jackie Gateman or something.
Yes.
They liked me for some reason.
Yes.
And I stunk, but they would give me spots at Nick's, and I would get either money or, but I would buy Coke from Mike, the drug dealer that the Colombians killed. He was the Coke dealer up there. I would stay behind the connection at the Milner Hotel, which was all prostitutes and drug addicts, right? And, I would go up there, and Nick's was giving me shows upstairs, downstairs. So the last time I was up in Boston, I did Springfield, Mass. and Westfield, Mass. 252 Elm and some other Norm LaFoe shit. And
Norm LaFoe, Western Massachusetts.
Yes. So then I went to Nick's. I go, I'm not spending my money on drugs. I'm coming home with fucking money, right? So I'm working this place called Plums in Worcester. And this waitress, fucking smoking hot. After the show, because I did some coke bits, she goes, "You do coke?" I go, "Yeah." I go. Do you know where I can get any coke? And we couldn't get any coke in Boston. We drove from Boston. I went back to New York, bought a bunch of crack. We got a hotel, smoked all night. We had sex, this and that. And it was Saturday night. And I'm 40 minutes from home. And I have one more show in Boston on a Sunday. And I have to drive her all the way back to Boston. No money left, maybe $10 or $20. Just enough to get back to Boston, do my show. Luggage in a fucking paper bag. We stop on the way up in Hartford. We try to buy coke or heroin, and we got ripped off. She's crying because she's going to lose her job. Fucking blood started pouring out of my nose as we're driving, just pouring out. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. I swear to God, right? Right? Well, and then she goes, "My sister wants an ounce of coke." So I was going to set her up and rip her off and,
Oh, boy.
Get a 3 ounce of coke. Well, anyhow, 2 weeks later, I end up in rehab. That was my bottom. That fucking trip to Boston. I ended up in rehab. And about a year or two later, I'm working Fort Lauderdale, and her sister's there with her boyfriend, who's the size of a fucking house. So if I did rip her off, I would have gotten fucking the shit kicked beaten out of me. What are the odds? So that last trip to Boston, and I spent all the money I wasn't going to spend, but this girl was fucking hot, Then I came out of rehab. I think I had like a month or 2 months clean, and I'm working Daytona Beach. There's fucking I don't know. I had bad teeth, fucking Jerry curl. And my wife says this. She saw videos of me from Rouse, and she goes, "You're such a mess, but you had so much confidence." And girls like confidence, right? Because I would be on stage, fucking rotten teeth, fucking grease dripping out of my head. So I fucking mess. I look like a fucking rat. And this hot waitress in Daytona, we go back to her place, and I'm making out with her, and something tastes funny. I go, "What?" And she pulls out a bag of coke. I had like a month clean, 2 months. I go, "I can't do that. I got to get out of here." I mean, I fucked her, but then I left real quick, and it was scary.
So you never bounced back? You never went back to drugs?
No.
That's amazing.
39 years ago.
That's incredible. You have one fall off, and you're like, "I'm done."
Well, I mean, here's, for me now, and, as the years accumulated, I was working, I was saving money, I was buying. If I went and got high now, this watch alone would kill me. I could pawn this watch.
Right.
It would be enough money for me to die.
Right.
Money I've hidden around the house. No one's going to find it. I don't even think, hey, we're going to go to Foster's house and find his money. This shit is fucking hidden well. All right? So go fuck yourself. So anyhow, I'll die. There's no, look, for a year, and I got to get back on track, I stopped eating, not keto, but cut back on carbs, sugar. I did real well for a year. I was fucking ripping up again. And from my age, and it's harder. My daughter comes upstairs and goes, "Oh, I made homemade chocolate chip cookies." I go, "Oh, give me one." Well, the 7th cookie I had to throw in the garbage. The 7th one, I go, I got to stop. So that's how my fucking mind is. There's no one time. The fuck, I play golf and guys are drinking a beer. I go, "What the fuck are you doing?" We like to taste, fuck off. Gatorade tastes good. You drink to get drunk. What are you drinking a beer? And it's just, and then on stage, if I go, "I quit," someone goes, "Quitter, shut the fuck up. You're here having wine coolers, bitch. Sell your mother's car to get high. Go fuck yourself." Wow. You don't know anything about getting high. Ooh,
You're fighting with people who aren't even here.
I know. I'm just telling you
Strange.
how. You're
in the shower arguing with these guys.
Oh, do you know how many fucking arguments I've had?
Oh,
I thought you
yeah.
were going to bring in your whole pro-Palestinian crew that I was going to fight today, which I have stuff printed out. We'll read later. We'll read later. But yeah, it's so funny having fights with people. You don't ever lay in bed or have arguments with people that
No.
you've never had.
I did when I was young. Yeah, I figured that out when I was younger. This is stupid. And when the impulse comes, which it does,
Yeah.
I go, this is stupid. I talk to
Yeah.
myself. I just coach myself.
Yeah.
You gotta have like another voice in your head.
Yeah, but
And most people have one voice in their head, and that
Yeah.
voice is like, we should go get high, or we should do this, we should do
Yeah.
You have to have a second voice. And the second voice is like, what advice would I give me? And the advice I'd give me is like, you're wasting your time arguing in the shower with someone who they don't even know you're arguing with them.
I know, it's true.
You're not even there. You're like replaying it out in your head so you could have had a better thing to say to them.
They say they're living rent-free in your head.
Yes,
It's-
that's what it is.
But
Yeah,
then-
I don't allow anybody in my head.
No, I had the second thought. I do, and I'm not religious by any, but I'll say, God kept me off. What should I do? What's my purpose? Or what can I do in life? Look, my main purpose in life, besides my main purpose is staying sober. Because if I don't, I'm dead easily, and everything I throw away. Then my family, obviously, and my career, all the shit I put about Israel, this and that, that's my life is comedy. But I think in life, if you're not part of like I say, solution, you're part of the problem. What's going on in this world, mainly in this country, the anti-Semitism in this country.
The anti-Semitism in this country is weird because it popped up like it was hiding. After
Yeah.
October 7th, it popped up like it was hiding. Like, what? Where? Has this been here the
Yeah.
whole time? It was weird. And I think there's a lot of it on Twitter and these places that I think is not human beings and that inspires human beings to get bold. I think there's a lot of it that's bots. There's a lot of it that's bots. I see these, I've like, when someone says something outrageous on Twitter, I'll go to the account and see like what they're doing. And sometimes I go, oh, this isn't a person. Like you can figure it out after like a couple of pages. Like this is not an actual person. This is a person that jumps onto every controversial subject and says something insightful. And they do it over and over again. And you see it with abortion, you see it with immigration, you see it with voting, you see it with the rigged elections. Like there was an FBI analyst who took a look at Twitter before the purchase and he said, I think it's as much as 80% bots. I think we're getting played as a civilization, back and forth. I think so many people are vulnerable to like following a narrative.
Well, and I agree. And I've said this, and I believe in free speech. When we talked about this, you didn't agree with it, but
I didn't agree with free speech.
no. What I said about the internet, that some people in life use that shouldn't have a platform in life because they're nuts. They're nuts. Like if you had someone in the audience that's nuts, you're gonna take them out. You're gonna get rid of them.
Right, but that's the difference between an audience and the internet is you don't have to engage with the nuts.
Okay, but there's people that are following these nuts. Okay, you take whatever's going on in the Middle East, whatever side you're on, Israel, Palestine, whatever. Why are college campuses letting this happen on campus where Jews can't go to class, where they're being harassed, where they feel threatened?
Well,
Which
a
is
lot of that stuff is funded.
Yeah, it's funded by Qatar or whatever.
Or whatever.
Whoever's funding.
Whoever's doing it, there's most certainly there's funding and organization involved. These aren't organic
Yeah.
protests that just pop up.
No, of course.
Everybody wants to think they are because some people
No.
join organically. They hop in, but it's not.
No,
These are all being organized.
Of course.
Including the anti-Elon protests, including like, the end to oligarchy rallies that they have with AOC and Bernie
Yes.
Sanders. All this shit it's all getting funded and astroturfed and they're bussing people in. They're manufacturing a movement.
Of course, and I mean, listen, they didn't all go out and buy the same tents.
Right.
And there's, I don't know how many that are getting funded, and then they bring in, it's just like,
The tents are crazy.
it's
We're going
just-
to camp out for
yeah.
Palestine.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just like, I don't want to get into the 80s and foreclosures on farms,
Farm aid.
When banks were foreclosing on farms, Jews were going, look, the Jews are foreclosing on our farm, the Jewish bankers, and they weren't even the bankers doing it. It was the WASP bankers. Jews barely worked at Chase Manhattan in the early 80s or 70s. So,
But they blame the Jews. That's
but
what
they
you're
blame because it's easy to go after,
Right.
that. So throughout the Midwest or the South, it's easier to build up hatred or a group to go after a smaller group going, hey, these people are closing on your farms. These are the people that are doing it. And these people don't have the knowledge, and the hate just grows and grows from generation to generation.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, same with, I got shit I printed out. I'll show you later, maybe. I don't know. I mean, listen, I'm a comic, but I really, you see what I post sometimes. I post some shit, and I'm not anti. I'm not anti.
You're pro-Israel.
I'm just pro-Israel.
You're pro-Jew.
I'm pro-Jew in this country, and I'm not religious by any stretch. I don't I think it's a holiday now. It's Passover or something. I don't fucking know. I'm not religious. My cousins were. My family wasn't.
You
Black.
think about it as a people.
I think about it as, yes, as a people, if what was happening in this world to black people or gay people, these colleges would put an end to it. It would stop. All right. If people were ripping down posters of hostages, of black hostages or gay hostages when that was happening, it wouldn't happen. It
Yeah,
wouldn't.
that was crazy.
You know-
that was crazy where people were upset that people wanted people to bring the hostages home. Like these hostages, some of them were aid workers.
Yeah.
Some of them were people that lived there so they could help people in Gaza. The whole thing's so crazy. But I wonder how did they get turned that way? Or were they what I said, they were in hiding? There was See, as a person who's not a Jew, I would hear about all the anti-Semitism. Yeah, there's always going to be some,
Yeah.
but maybe everyone's exaggerating. But then when after October 7th, it was just oh my God, it's fucking everywhere.
Are you? What's your background? Irish?
Italian.
Italian.
Yeah, mostly 1/4 Irish.
Okay. If every surrounding country
Right,
is
hated
attacking
Italians. Oh, I get it.
Italy, they're going to fight back by any
Listen,
means necessary.
I 100%
I'm going to show you.
get
Can
it.
I show you some stuff? Okay. Now we don't have to do it. We can talk. I don't know. I got to do a little of it. A little.
Whatever you want. I don't care. Do whatever you want. I'm joking around. But yeah, no, I understand. And I think that's also one of the things that people like.
My wife should keep away. Go ahead.
When people get angry about Jews is because they think that Jews always stick together. And they like Jews above all else. And then it's like, hey, fuck those people. There's that walled garden approach.
If the Jew,
What do you got there? You got a manila envelope like you're in fucking court. Look at this.
Relax. I come
What do you got?
prepared.
Charts?
Well, here's
Did you bring graphs? What's that first page? Is that a photo of Israel? What is it? You got a map? You brought maps? He brought shit. He brought maps for me. This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen from you. Yeah, it's very small. Yeah, they're surrounded by a bunch of Muslims. Not a good spot to be if you're a Jew.
So, when
They should have probably moved to a different spot.
they should have.
It's like, you know what I mean?
No,
It's
I
like
got other better stuff. I just start off with the weaker stuff.
if you're a black guy, you move into a KKK neighborhood. It's like you're gonna have problems.
Yeah, I mean, so
It is kinda crazy.
Wouldn't you think, by any means necessary, they're going to do what they fucking have to do to survive?
Yes, I totally
Okay.
think they would, and I understand that aspect of it. Is that your phone?
Yeah, I got to turn it up.
There you
Sorry, my
Okay.
wife. I don't know how she got my number. Start the car.
It is crazy when you look at the map. It's not just that they're surrounded, but they're surrounded by everyone. It's all enormous countries.
I mean,
All the way up. See interesting. You go down Saudi Arabia at the end of it, you forget. Oh, it's Ethiopia's right there.
And then, I mean, Turkey hates Israel. Fucking Iran, they're being attacked by 4 or 5 different nations at once. And everybody's going, well, they're committing genocide.
It was insane.
He keeps getting better.
He
was good when I first saw him a few years back. Just keeps getting better.
well, like you said earlier, how to see people do different hours. I
You know
toured
what
with
else
him
he
for
did too,
Infamous.
though?
It's different than like.
People forget he was like the first guy to really capitalize on the pandemic with his videos, where he essentially created a completely new kind of stand-up, right? So it's stand-up without the pauses that you would require if an audience was laughing. So it's more rapid paced.
Yeah.
Like he thought this through, dude. This is like a genius thing. Those things turn your phone sideways.
Yes.
So that's what you used to have to do back in the day, kids. Back 5 years
5 years
ago.
ago.
All you fucking 15-year-olds when you were 10, you didn't know about this. But when you turn your phone sideways, and then it would play out in wide format. And he would kind of do stand-up with images and with punchlines, and it was fucking great. But it was a way faster pace than he does stand-up on stage.
Yeah.
It was like the punchlines, and then you this and that, and I'm like, oh my God, he figured it out.
Yeah.
He figured out how to make like really compelling stand-up for someone who's not there.
Well, it's like a late night monologue from one of those late night hosts, but like a
Yeah.
real motherfucker doing it,
Yeah.
and really giving their actual
Exactly.
opinion.
Exactly. It's genius. Because like that was an example of someone innovating in like a crisis. Like there's a situation that happened, you're forced to, everyone, some, like during the pandemic, some people just curled up in a shell and decided, I'm not leaving my house anymore.
Yeah.
And then some people are like, okay, what can we do? What can we do? Okay, I'm gonna figure out how to do stand-up in this little video format. Turn your phone sideways.
Yeah.
And then everybody started sharing them, and then Netflix does a thing, Andrew Schultz Saves America.
Intro saves America.
Yeah. Which I don't. They should get the money back. How dare you? How
Yeah,
dare
some of
you.
those people are still trapped in their house.
It's crazier than ever right now.
But yeah, he did. I mean, even with clips,
Genius.
with
Genius.
clips, it's him. I give him that credit of like.
Oh, he does it all the time. And he also, because his stuff is local and a lot of it, like these opening bits that he comes up with, are you kind of have to get them out now.
Yeah.
Right. So he could just release them on like the fucking when we did the P Diddy thing when he went to LA. And that's just at P Diddy's house.
Brother, he wrote that shit 10 minutes before he walked up into the forum. 20,000 people. 20,000 people. He wrote it 10 minutes. And it was me and Mark Agnon are sitting there like, holy fuck. How did he come up with this? We were just hanging with him.
That's so funny. He's in the groove, AG1 has been a longtime partner of the show, and I'm excited to share a great offer they have going on right now. You can get a free month supply of AG1's omega-3 supplement and a free bottle of D3K2 with your first subscription order. The omega-3 soft gel supplement complements AG1, making it easy to get the fatty acids you need, while the D3K2 liquid drops can help provide 2 essential vitamins. They're made with high-quality ingredients following the latest scientific research. And together with AG1, they work to give you the nutrients and minerals you might be missing from your diet. If you haven't tried AG1 yet, they're bundling it with their omega-3 and vitamin D3K2 products for free, so it couldn't be a better time to start. Subscribe today and get a 1-month supply of AG omega-3 and a bottle of vitamin D3K2 with your first AG1 order. You'll also get their welcome kit with everything you need to get started on your AG1 journey. So make sure you check out drinkag1.com/Joe Rogan to claim this special offer. That's drinkag1.com/Joe Rogan. It's sort of like when you have a muscle to do something and you do that thing all the time, then you just get better and better and better at doing that thing, and then you get in the groove. Like we were talking about, like a Tell, like Theo, like when someone gets in the groove of who they are,
Yeah.
like Tony is on Kill Tony. Perfect example.
That's it. Unreal.
He's locked in. He's in the groove. He's been doing it so long. He knows when to dance and when to pause.
When to ask a serious question, when to get goofy, when to let the panel know. It's pretty impressive.
If you can find something like that to do in your life, you will have a much better life than if you just get a job. And I know that's not everybody can, but if you can, you definitely should.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, you definitely should do that.
Being excited for every day and nervous and anxious and oh, is this that feeling? I mean, to not have it, I can't believe people go. I get having you got to go to work, you got to make money, but the idea of like, man, never that feeling of anxiety and looking forward to something and it not going the way you planned. And so you got to go the next day and figure out what went wrong. And like, I love that. That's what I love about stand-up, the figuring it out, the math of it all.
Yeah, it's a great job, man. We're so fucking lucky.
Yeah, dude.
We're so lucky.
God, you've been in it long enough to see everybody. Did you see this thing Damon Wayans said about you?
Yeah, he stole one of my jokes.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about that. But the way he said it, I've never seen someone say I stole a joke, and he was like, man, he said I saw it, and then I actually realized I stole Joe's joke, and I was like, oh, I gotta stop watching motherfuckers. Yeah. It just stuck in the back of his head. But I know you give him his flowers, so I was like, oh, no, the guy's not a joke feed.
No,
like,
no. That happens, man. Sometimes you think you came up with it, but somebody else did, and you heard it, and you forgot. That can definitely, especially if it's a subject that you never cover, and time has passed, and then the subject comes up, like something comes up, and you're like, and it almost like Dave Attell's the best at that. He'll call you up because you have to check sometimes. Like, hey, have you heard this? You know, like you have like he's the best at that. Dave does that all the time. Like you got to check every now and then. Like this one seems too easy because the memory is weird. You know, memory. Yeah. You ever go back to like your old neighborhood where you grew up, and you're like, this house is way smaller than I thought it was.
It was a
this
mansion.
It's all different.
Yeah.
The driveway's different. Everything's different. Looks weird. You know, your memory's shitty. It's good. I mean, it keeps you from fucking picking up the wrong spider. But you know what I mean? It's not a photographic representation of reality, and that's a problem.
And you guys have been doing stand-up 20 years, and how many bits have you seen? Just
seen too many bits. Yeah. So you can, and then parallel thinking. There's a lot, but you know when someone's a thief. Damon's not a thief. I always said that he might be one of the most underappreciated comics ever, because like when he was in his prime, you got to realize he was like. You know, if you're looking at today, he was like Chappelle. He was like in that same level of recognition as being like one of the best guys alive. But then they got him with those TV shows, man.
And movies, he wanted to be a movie star.
Last Boy Scout. He was going to be a movie star.
Yeah.
Did that big Bruce Willis movie. And it was a good movie.
Yeah.
And then it looked like he was going to be a movie star after that.
I mean, he had some great, like Blank Man, where he's a retarded superhero.
God, that was so ridiculous. Try doing that today.
You couldn't do that.
Bro,
so good.
When he used to do Handyman on In Living Color. Oh my God.
They might be one of the greatest families, the Wayans family.
For sure. Who's number two? They're number one.
They might be 1 and 2, Joe. I don't know who.
Like, what other families are there that are like big show, not in comedy? What other families? Am I missing something? Am I forgetting somebody?
I mean, I know In Living Color was so
it's like
big.
them and then the Sklar brothers. Like, there's no other families.
Yeah, families.
There's nobody in the hunt.
In Living Color is so big, Joe. Did you know this? That the reason we have the Super Bowl halftime show is because of In Living Color.
That's crazy.
So In
Really?
Living Color,
Is that true?
That's true. So before Michael Jackson, the year they brought Michael Jackson was because the year before that, In Living Color aired during the Super Bowl. And they lost so many viewers. They lost like a not half, but a big number where that they were like, we can't let people leave during the halftime show because this show is too big.
What year was that?
I want to say Michael Jackson was 95, maybe
It had to be
96?
earlier than that.
Maybe 94?
It had to be earlier than that because I remember watching it on TV at a pool hall.
93.
Yeah.
93.
So I was just moving to New York, to LA from New York then. So I was in New York at a pool hall watching it. And I remember watching Fire Marshal Bill. And I'd be like, how can you do this? How is this allowed? I'm like, this show's crazy. You have to realize for 93, there was nothing like if you think about the internet today and all the crazy videos that people put together and the years of Mad TV and
SNL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But back then, man, there was nothing like this show. This show was crazy.
That is Paul. Oh my God, that is Paulie right in the corner.
Oh, look at it, Paulie.
The
Look at him. He's moving the head like a pigeon, bro. He's here now, too.
Yeah, I know
Isn't
that
that fun,
great.
hanging out with Paulie? It's like being at the store, man.
The best.
But
This is unreal how big this
the
was.
show was great. But Damon, you watch, if you want to watch something, watch, I think it's The Last Stand. I think that was one of his, I think that's the name of it. something like, I think it's The Last Dance, but it's fucking phenomenal. And it's so good, but it's also like so good if you go back to that time. Because comedy, like everything else, has evolved with all the scrutiny on it and all the different high-level people that are doing it. Like, there's the comedy right now, I think, is at like the highest level that I've ever seen. There's so many really great comedians. I think in the 1980s, like if you go back, you had Kennison, you had Eddie Murphy, you had Richard Pryor, you had George Carlin, you had a bunch of really good guys, Jerry Seinfeld. But not many after that, you know, wasn't as thick.
Yeah.
As thick with assassins. So I think like right now, there's so many assassins out there. There's more arena acts out there right now than has ever been in the history of comedy.
Yeah.
You gotta realize arena acts started with Dice Clay. So Dice Clay starts off he becomes an arena act in like 87-ish.
Late 80s is when
Yeah.
arena act comedy started.
Before that, and nobody was doing it but Dice. Dice was the only arena act. Yeah, and then arena act number 2, Dane Cook.
And that's how many years later?
Many. Because this is like, Dane Cook becomes an arena act in like the 2000s.
Wow.
Yeah. So then there's Dane Cook. Dane Cook starts selling out arenas. I was like, what is happening? What is happening? And then all of a sudden, the internet happens, and social media happens, and a lot of comics. Like we were talking about, like Dave Attell and Colin Quinn. Like Dave Attell's one of the best to ever do it. And if there's ever a club where he's not sold out the moment it's on stage, that's a travesty. That doesn't make any sense. But they didn't connect to the internet the same way. And because the notoriety is not commensurate to the talent. Whereas like with Schultz, the notoriety and the talent are perfectly balanced. It's the same level. So everybody knows how good he is, and everybody knows who he is. It's locked in, where it's like Dave Attell is this. But like the notoriety is like us talking about him only. Word of mouth only. His
Like a
social
secret.
media is hot garbage. He's got a flip phone.
He's got a flip
and
phone.
He texts you with a doot 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 doot. He's got to press 4 times to get an R or whatever the fuck it is. You know, it's so stupid. It's so
crazy.
stupid.
He does it like that.
It's crazy he does it like that. Like, why do you do it like that?
Because he could be on the internet more. I remember when he had that show, Insomniac. That's when I first saw him.
Let me throw this at you, because I've been trying to stay off social media more and more every day, like a little less every day. And the more I do it, the better I feel. It's like not being poisoned. It really is. It's like getting away from a poison that you didn't know was a poison, like some forever plastics in your Starbucks cup or something. You know, like
Yeah.
I quit those Starbucks cups, and all of a sudden, you know what I mean? It's like something like that. Like I quit drinking tap water, and all of a sudden I could think better. You know? Oh, that's right. Oh my God, that's right. You know,
We always
I
people
forgot
forget
about Steve
him.
Martin. But I forgot about Steve Martin for 2 reasons. One, because Steve Martin was a little different. He was doing stand-up, but it was a lot of songs, and it was, you know what I mean? He was great, by the way. Like, Let's Get Small is phenomenal. But I think he got to a point where comedy became too easy, because and so he didn't know what was funny anymore because everybody loved him so much, and he stopped doing stand-up, which is really weird. Wow. Probably didn't have good friends.
Yeah,
If
because
he had good friends, we would have grabbed him like we grabbed Ron White. Remember when Ron White was trying to
Retired.
quit?
Yeah, like, what are you talking about?
I'm going to retire. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Why would you do that? Isn't comedy fun? Yeah.
He's like, yeah, it is.
So keep doing fun things. God, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I can't believe I have to give him this advice. I'm like, you're Ron White. How are you thinking about, how much fun are you having when you're killing up there? But I think that was the drinking thing, too.
Yeah, he's sober now.
Yeah, it was drinking, and it was also he needed a tribe, you know, and he had the tribe a little bit when he was in California, you know, but he was always on the road a lot, you know, and he just decided that being in the center of the country was better. So he was like patient zero of the Austin Revolution. Like, a lot of people think it was me, but it was really Ron, because I came here knowing that Ron was here. I was like, at the very least, Ron's here, you know?
It's 2 of us.
I'm like, I'm not living like this in California. You're not doing this to me. I know what you're doing. I was like, the fucking caged animal in me is like, I'm getting out. This is gonna go sideways. I'm not gonna be a part of this.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I'm like, okay, at least Ron's there. I was like, my life is going to be worse than it ever was before. My life is going to be, all my friends are gone, they're not here. I'm in the middle of the country. Maybe I'll see him every now and then. Maybe I'll have to book shows to see them. But at least Ron's here. That's where I decided.
Patient zero.
Yeah, he was patient zero. So, you know.
And now he hangs out every night. And we get Ron every night.
Oh, he's lovely.
He's the yo.
Lovely. He's lovely.
We were hanging one time. This is my favorite Ron story, and it's just me, you, and Ron in the green room. And you gifted him a really nice Rolex, and you guys were having a sweet moment. And I couldn't believe I was there to see it. I was like, damn, this is really cool. And you gifted it to him, and y'all were having a conversation. I'm like, wow. And he takes off his Rolex, and he tosses it to me. He goes, there you go, Derek. And I go, holy shit, Ron, for real? He says, fuck no, bro. Give me my Rolex. Give me my Rolex back, you idiot. And then you went, so you go, that's the most fucked up shit I've ever seen, Ron.
I forgot about that until right now.
It was the most evil.
So evil.
You literally were like, Ron, why would you do that?
Well, I thought everybody's just giving out Rolexes up in this
I
bitch.
just thought that was going to be a great moment. And my face was like,
That's hilarious.
but he's the man, dude. I can't believe I'm friends with him because I've been a fan since I was a kid.
I feel that the same way. Yeah, I feel that way about a lot of guys. Like, I can't believe I'm friends with you. It's nice. It's not, but that's good, right? You never stop being both a fan and a person who does it.
Yeah.
I try to separate it. I try to separate me as a comic off stage versus me as a comic on stage. I really do. You know, so I can just be a fan.
Oh, I see
You
what you're
know,
saying. Yeah.
because when I was younger, I used to watch someone going, "Oh, I would do it differently." Like if they suck, I'll do that. If they suck, I'll go like, "Oh, that premise." I think, see, I'm not explaining this very well. You know, what I mean, I start picking it apart that way, but I like to just be a fan. I do like to just watch because I think a lot of people are real hesitant to give up flowers. Right, as
Yeah,
young
they
kids
are.
like to say.
Yeah.
But the reason why is because they don't feel good about comparing themselves to this person who may be doing better than them. So there's a feeling like, he's all right, he's all right. There's a little bit of that, you know, which
Yeah.
I don't like that.
It doesn't make sense to me either because watching this game for the 10 years I've been doing it, it's like, oh, like there's no like everyone tells me that Sebastian was like nobody knew that he was going to be one of the biggest arena acts we've ever seen when he first started, when he was coming around. You hear older comics, be like, oh, he was good, but you didn't see that for him. So it's like, oh, there is no point to judge somebody harshly because this game is long.
Yeah, the game's long, and you figure things out. I was terrible when I started. There's no way to not be. Especially me. I was socially retarded. I've been hit in the head 150,000 times. I mean, there's some fucking issues there. There were some issues. And I was socially retarded because I spent, like, from age 15 to 21, just did nothing but travel around the country fighting people. That's all I did. So my version of a young adulthood was very weird. Like, it was 100% competition.
Yeah.
That was all it was. You know, that's all I did.
Well, when you hear Joey talk about you when you were younger, like, oh, he was an animal. You know, like Joe was just an animal. Before you apparently started smoking weed, he was like, you were way more different about it.
But I think a lot of fighters have a hard time transitioning into being a regular person, and I was only an amateur fighter. You know, I couldn't imagine being a guy like, you know, like Dustin Poirier, who's about to retire. You know, like transitioning to being a regular person. And he's been this fucking savage killer for so long at the highest level. Like that's like the highest level in the world. Inside the octagon, knocks out Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
And you're like, and that guy's got to transition to being a regular person. For me, there was no screaming crowds. It was weird high school auditoriums and trying to give people concussions. That's all it was. That was all it was. So, but there was no glory and no money, and it cost me some of my health, you know, for sure. There's, you know, and fear. Constantly living in a state of anxiety that you're going to have to fight against soon. Constantly. And for some weird reason, I was always like, why am I doing this to myself? I don't have to do this. Like, this doesn't pay me any money. I don't have to do it. Why do I keep signing up to do this? The NBA 82 game.
Read with him the scene, and he won't look at me. And Marcy Phillips is yelling at me, go, what are you doing? I go, this fucking guy won't connect with me. How can I act with somebody that won't look at me? And she goes, can you two please leave? We laughed all the way down the hallway. We laughed. We just got kicked out of an audition as the leads of sitcom, and we just cracked up all the way. because it just to us was the funniest.
Well, also
Being funny
like,
in the moment.
the idea of you getting a sitcom was so unlikely.
Yes.
It was always all so unlikely that when it failed, like if you went on an audition and it
Yeah.
fucked up, you're like,
Yeah.
it wasn't gonna happen anyway. You never thought this is going to be it.
Yeah. Never once.
No.
Never.
Never.
I walked out of an audition once. I just got back from Aspen. I had a lot of heat in Aspen, but this is when my anxiety. I've had anxiety my whole life. 21, I was hospitalized for anxiety when I was, and they didn't know what it was. They thought you were just nuts and gave you Thorazine and Haldol and you shuffled around like a crazy man. This is,
So explain to me what it feels like. What is this anxiety? Like
well,
that you
now when I
get
had it,
hospitalized?
when I had it bad, well, I felt so disconnected that even when I talked, it felt like an echo almost, like I was outside of myself.
Right.
Like if I look in the mirror, I'm going, who am I looking at? It was just
Oh.
so disconnected.
And you were 21?
Yeah, 21. Smoking pot and stuff.
Oh, well,
but-
that's it.
well, some of it was probably where am I going in life?
Yeah.
What am I doing?
And you're getting high.
And I'm getting
Which
high.
is like, oh.
You know.
If you're freaking out and you get high.
Yeah.
"Oh."
You know, so
Do you have to pee right now?
No, why do you?
Because you said you have to go to the bathroom. You were talking about your story. Then. Okay.
Uh,
Because I was like preparing to like cut it off and let you go. To the
No,
bathroom.
no. This is the best day
You
of
were
my
talking-
life.
Okay.
Except for the fucking map. He
The
brings
map was
out the
great.
map.
The map turned out great.
It turned out a good little conversation. I got, you know,
Sure.
I had to talk. Oh, thank God it's Monday. Thursday, the Thursday ones are so much better. I'm Monday. So, my anxiety. Wait, what did it feel like, or what?
Yeah. What was like when you said it overwhelmed you to the point you had to go to the hospital? Was
well,
your heart
20
beating?
I didn't know what was going on. It turned into panic or whatever.
Right.
Like I was so fucked up. My friends, you know, I was going. I was selling meat and seafood out of a car, out of a truck. Some businesses back then. I went to this therapist. I go, help me. I'll give you some free steaks and seafood. And I was just out of my fucking mind. And I get anxiety talking about it. It really gives you a little anxiety. So my friends go, let's take him to Florida. He needs a vacation. We drove to Florida. I was there for a day. I said, I got to get the fuck out of here. Take me home. And we drove there and drove back. Then I checked into the hospital, the fifth floor, basically, for fucking cuckoos. Because they really didn't know what anxiety was back then.
Isn't that crazy? Because that's not that long ago in human history.
Well, I mean, it was 40-something years ago.
But isn't it nuts? Just like in
Yes.
the last 40 years, how much they've learned.
Well, yeah, but also, too, it's easier to say that person's nuts, give them Thorazine, Haldol, whatever
Right.
antipsychotic drugs are. And I swear to God, you know, my day was when I would shuffle around the floor
hospital?
with this girl. This one girl. We shuffled. My friends came up to see me, and I'm like, I can't see you today. We're going for a walk. You know, I was like one flew of the coos. I was fucking out of my mind. So,
That could have been you for the rest of your life.
oh, Jesus. So, I know. Well, because I
people-
did do acid in my day, and people sometimes do that shit, never come back. Never come back. And I saw that on Dragnet. So,
It's in real life.
yeah, it is real.
Stearns talked about that. He
Yeah.
did a big dose of acid once. He was fucked up for a long time.
It'll fuck you up.
There's a guy from Pink Floyd who disappeared.
Oh, I hope it's fucking Roger Waters.
No. It's, how dare you?
How dare I?
How dare you? What's his name again? Shine on You Crazy Diamond?
Oh, you mean he did acid and just...
Yeah. It's not just one person. There's just been a lot of people that had an acid trip and just never
Yeah,
came back.
my brother did it when we were doing. He was real young. He was having a bad trip, and I had to babysit him the whole day.
Yeah, it's fucking scary. Yeah.
Oh.
That's it. David Gilmour.
So
Written by David Gilmour. But it's not, it's about, who was it about? Sid Barrett, that's right. Sid Barrett did acid, went crazy. See, right there. Departed from the band in 1968 after dealing with the mental health problems and substance abuse. The story is he never came back.
It's crazy. How that's the most. That drug is so uncontrollable.
Well, also, like, what's the dose? An effective dose is a droplet on your
Yeah.
tongue, which is crazy.
Well, we were doing blotter or window pane, four-way window
Right.
pane.
Who's
back
making
in-
that? They're not making it in the same labs where they're making Tylenol. They're
No.
making it in some fucking
Yeah,
Grateful
some
Dead
guy
in its basement.
also, too much goes into that drop.
Yeah.
So, I got out of the hospital, and for years, I don't know however long it took, it passed. Life started getting better, whatever.
Okay.
Then, and I would get anxiety, it would come and go. But back then, when I didn't know what it was, it turned into panic. So then when I was 40, I would watch my kids. After I got divorced, I would have my kids every day. I worked nights, and I watched my, I guess, 4 and 6 year old. My wife would either drop them off, or I would pick them up and drop them off. I would have them in the days. My day was my kids, whatever. Go to the park, do this, do that, just watch my kids. So then they went off to school full time, you know, nursery, first grade. So now I'm at 40 years old, living in some fucking third floor apartment, divorced from my first wife, bouncing off of fucking walls again. I mean, fucking 40 years
No
old.
purpose.
No, just I'm going. I got to quit comedy. I got to go into the psych ward. I'm fucked up. This is fucked up. So I found this therapist who was also, and I was already sober. I found this therapist that was in recovery, and he basically brought me back. You know, some medication through his partner, who was a psychiatrist. He was a therapist. Great. I could talk. I could say anything to him. Whatever, you know. And then it just got better. And then I realized and worked knowing whatever anxiety I feel, it'll pass. Nothing lasts forever. It'll pass. Like I had a little anxiety for the last week thinking about this. I go, what, you know,
Really?
a little bit because, and we're friends, and I've done podcasts, and what Bonnie goes, shut up and be funny, be whatever. You know, a million things went through my fucking head. Because, I mean, shit, you've had fucking Trump on, Elon, you know what I mean? And that's my low self-esteem, because of course I should be doing everything in my mind. Do you see what I'm saying? Does that make sense? But even when I did Tough Crowd, I was on 30 times. Every episode, I had anxiety till it started. Every special or everything I've ever done, anxiety for the first second. I walk out, boom, gone. All right? It's just,
Well, that's because you care. I mean, what you're
Yeah.
calling anxiety is just nerves.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
whenever if you're doing something that's difficult or something that's important to you, you're going to have nerves. It's normal. It's healthy.
Yeah.
That shows you're challenging yourself, which is
Yeah.
one of the most important things you can do in life to stay vibrant. Yeah, you have
Yeah.
to challenge yourself.
When I did the Trump, when we roasted Trump, this was a friar's roast, right? It wasn't, it's when they broke away from Comedy Central, right? They broke away. So, it's at the Hilton in New York, 2,000 people. Anybody that meant anything in New York, from club owners, agents, managers, celebrities, they were all there. So the first act goes up, this guy, Stewie Stone, old time, Catskill cop. He kills like no one I've ever seen kill on a roast. Fuck you, Trump, fuck you, casinos, fuck you, fuck you. He's fucking slaughtered, right? And I'm sitting on the dais, I'm sitting next to Isaac Hayes. Opie and Anthony are there, my father, his wife, Bonnie, before I married her. And I go, I'm going to end my career. I go, I'm going to end my career. Okay. Then Susie Essman goes up. Slaughters. I guess Amorose wrote her some funny jokes, and she's great at roast. And I was ready to sneak off the fucking, just leave. I go, it might be better if I leave than go up. Well, then Belzer went up. So,
Took a little wind out of the room.
took a little, you know.
Yeah.
So, Regis Philbin was the host. It was 3 weeks after Rodney Dangerfield died. 3 weeks. They introduced me. I go, big hand for Regis. Originally, they asked Rodney to host, but he said he'd rather be dead. Right? Zero. Almost zero, right?
Really?
Right? I got him. I go, don't fuck with me. I'll bring Belzer back. Right? I had him. And then Al Sharpton was sitting on the dais. I can't believe I said this, but back then it was okay. He wasn't roasting, but he was on the dais. And it's when he was running for president. And I said, the only way you'll get on the White House property is with a lantern in your hand. I said to him, so fuck him, I didn't care. And then I got him back. 3 of the jokes that I said were the ones that were printed in the newspapers. You know, the one I did, I go, Trump, the reason Trump puts his names on his buildings is so the banks know which ones to take back. And that was 20 years ago. But it was the most terrifying moment. One that, next to doing Def Jam as the first white guy, was one of the most terrifying moments in my, I mean, I'm going to end my career. But Def Jam, you know, Def Jam was on for 5 years. The #1 show on HBO. So, okay, we're going to use a white guy, it's me. Right, so now I got white comics, you better be funny. I have black.
White comics are saying that to you?
Yeah,
Like, you
'cause
gotta
I'm the
represent
first-
us?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, there was,
Which
yeah.
ones?
I
want to know who they
20,
are.
20 years ago. The white comics that were doing black rooms back then.
I see.
You know what I mean? Then there was black comics mad that I'm doing it and they're not. You know what I mean? So they're taping in New York every 5 nights. This is fun. 5 nights.
Was that when they
And-
were filming in Harlem?
It could have, I don't know. It was in New York 5 nights at some theater.
Okay.
And it was the year, I did it the 5th year when they had a different guest host every night. Like Martin Lawrence wasn't one night, one show Chris Rock, Chappelle, Jamie Foxx, and Steve, what's his name? Harvey was my host, you know. So I'm going every night. I mean, I went one night, and it was this is so fun. Like Guy Torrey would come out and do the warm up, and he would say, "Listen, this is not the Apollo. There's no fucking booing here. This is HBO. We don't boo, right? This is a whole nother level. We don't want to hear any booing." So this comic comes out. He walks out, and with a black audience, if you're wearing the wrong sneakers, you're in trouble. Believe me, I used to do a lot of, you know, he comes out like Reeboks. He's wearing an all gold suit. And his first joke in New York is, "I just want to say I'm not from New York. I'm from Canada." Right? Oh, he's bombing so bad. And when a black audience can't boo you, all you heard in the room was, child. It was brutal. So I'm like, now they're taped 5 nights, 2 shows a night. I'm on the last night, 2nd show, and I go second to last. Now, all the comics that were still in town that were the celebrity hosts, were at the taping. I'm going, this is one of the scariest moments of my life. I mean, you know, no white guy. Steve Harvey brings me out. He goes, "Whoa, Arnett Sack is something we haven't seen or special, whatever." And Russell made me wear his clothing. I got Fat Farm on and these baggy pants, you know. And I look back on it because it was 25 years ago.
Beautiful, beautiful song is it's playing amongst all the noise. 'Cause you know it's there. It's just, you hear down there, down there, down there. Oh man.
Yeah. No, I remember, I don't know who this comic said this, but it was great. It always stuck with me, this joke that he said how people think they're Americans or Chinese or whatever, but we're all on this planet. Like, just zoom out.
Yeah.
Whatever you think you are, just zoom out a little bit.
Trap. It's just
It's
like
a
the
trap.
Republican Democrat trap. It's just like the Texas California trap. Shut up. We're all just people. We're all people. And that's one of the beautiful things about traveling. You meet friends in Scotland, you meet friends in Ireland, you meet friends in Australia. Like, people are just people, man. We're just all people. We adapt to whatever our environment is. We adapt to the culture, the way people sound their words out, you know?
Yeah.
You want to fit in. If you want to fit in, you move to the South and start saying y'all. You know? You said y'all yet?
Oh, I say y'all.
When did you start?
But I'm from Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh, that's
so
right.
I'm a little southern
So
boy.
you've always had, you've always had a y'all past.
yeah, I've been a y'all. I've been a
I
y'all.
was born in New Jersey and I'm mostly Italian. For me, y'all is a stretch. I don't want to be disingenuous.
Does it ever come out of you? Never.
For funsies. Yeah, but it never accidentally comes out. Like, y'all gonna go? I'm 57.
Yeah.
I say you. Are you guys? It's like, what are we doing? Like, accents are weird, man. You don't realize you have them until you hear them, and you're like, why do I sound like that?
And it's impressive when you see people who can do them.
I didn't know I had a deep Boston accent until I was on television for the first time. When I was 19, I won the Bay State Games, and I was on this, like, local TV news thing, and I got a chance to hear myself on TV. I was like, oh my God, I sound like a fucking idiot. Like, what is it? Like, heavy Boston accent.
Yeah, you don't have it as bad.
I got rid of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a dumbass accent.
But then you started talking to everybody with a million different accents on the
Yeah.
pod, so I'm
I
sure
know,
you've heard all the different
you
versions.
get neutral after a while, I think. Your voice gets neutral.
But you're not all the way like newscaster neutral, where it's just that. And now, that
That's
kind of shit.
the opposite of comedy, right? Because that doesn't hypnotize anybody.
Oh, no.
When that guy's talking the news, like, this is a presentation from NBC News.
Yeah.
Look at my tie. Look at the pocket square.
I'm serious.
I am a serious person. Most of those guys are freaks. That's what I love when those guys get caught. Oh, yeah. Those guys are just doing coke and banging
Just
hookers
in a
and
harem
fucking
of gay men. It's insane the
punching
things they do.
valets. They're animals. These guys are. And then, but on television, I present the news. While they're wearing a cock ring. Fucking freaks. All those people that pretend to be proper. Those are the ones you got to keep your eye on.
Yeah, they never have real opinions either. It's all just whatever. It's just a job.
Bill Cosby was the guy who pushed the most for clean comedy.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Is it though? Is it though? Like scolding everybody for their language and their subject matter.
God.
He was scolding.
That Eddie Murphy bit is so good, though, when he told Richard Pryor that Bill Cosby, he's like, you making money? Yeah. Are the
Do
people
the
laughing?
people laugh?
Yeah.
Do you get paid?
Yeah.
Tell Bill to have a Coke and a smile and shut the fuck up.
That's one of the greatest jokes of all time, dude. It's so good.
Well, it was so good, too, because Eddie Murphy could do such good impressions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all the accents.
He's
all the
another
shit.
one. Like, this just stopped doing comedy. Like, if Eddie Murphy would have been bigger than all of them. All the arena acts we were talking about before, Eddie Murphy would have been bigger. Bigger. Bro, he was so good. He was so powerful. Go back and watch Delirious. Oh, my God. He was like 20.
Hey, that's what's crazy. Whenever I do watch the lyrics, I'm like,
He was like 20.
and he's got full command of this, 4,000 seater, 5,000 seater?
Wearing a leather jumpsuit or some shit.
Chest out. Fucking abs out, dude. Oh my God.
Yeah. It's crazy. But it's interesting, like, with people, the path they choose in life, you know?
Movies be calling.
I think it's called Velvet Prison.
Yeah, I've heard you say that to Hassan once about writing jobs. That's a velvet prison.
That's another Velvet Prison. But, like, I'm sure Damon Wayans had a good time making all those TV shows. But wouldn't it have been amazing to see him being this guy that's, like, selling out arenas all over the world? Like, that's where it should be.
And he would still be doing it right now.
He could do it right now. He could just abandon all that TV nonsense right now and go back to it and still be one of the best alive. You know, that guy records like every show. He has a camera that he takes with him on a tripod, sets it up, records every fucking show, and he puts them all on his computer. He goes, I've been doing this since '94. I'm like, wow. Yeah.
That's so many files. And And how many specials he doesn't have?
No, doesn't have a lot of specials.
Yeah. Compared to other guys where you see
Not
some-
compared to how good he is.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's crazy. You just, someone's paying you, you go, you enjoy your work, you like it. There's nothing wrong with those decisions. And he's
Yeah.
obviously very successful. But, when you gotta think, like, you see guys like Schultz selling out arenas, and Bert selling out arenas, and Tony selling out arenas. It's like, don't you want to do that? Like, come on, man. Talk to me, David. I'll help you.
Oh my God, that'd be
Yeah.
sick to see him make a comeback.
Yeah, I'd love to see him do that. I just think after a while, do you really want to work for somebody? Do you really want to show up and, read the script and do the tape? I mean, do you want to do that?
No. I love just showing up 8 o'clock. Oh man, get up 4 or 5 times in a night. Oh, there's nothing. I love it. I mean, the idea of doing some stuff seems fun, but to make it I saw Seinfeld say that. He was like, man, we have one of the few jobs where people want this job.
Yeah.
How many, very rarely do I see it. I don't know if there's no job where I'm like, oh, really like to be that.
Yeah.
This is the job.
It's one of them, that's for sure. Rockstar's probably the big one.
Rockstar's probably the biggest.
Yeah.
But I don't.
See, the
at least-
Rockstar thing, they could sing the same ass song every night forever.
Yeah.
Like, if you're the Rolling Stones, you can still sing Brown Sugar. Nope. Can't sing it anymore. Can't sing that one.
No, wait a minute.
They don't sing Brown Sugar anymore.
No, come on.
Bro, you ever see the lyrics of Brown Sugar?
What are the actual lyrics? What is it, Chuck?
There's a reason why they don't sing it anymore. It's a great song. Don't get me wrong. It's still on my Spotify playlist. But I think I might have pulled it out. I might get scared. Wait till you see the lyrics.
That playlist is crazy long.
It's great. Yeah, the
Oh,
playlist.
man, we get turned up in there.
I usually do. I think that playlist is like 35 hours long now. Let me see it.
You keep adding to it.
I keep adding to it. I love it.
Because every once in a while, it'll look up.
33 hours and 49 minutes.
Yeah. I love when we're in there, and then I'll be like, "Who the fuck is playing this?" And I look up, and he's like, "It's like, Joe, who got you on the Black Panther album?" Or whatever. You'll just listen to some random shit. Hey, who got you on this?
Oh yeah, I love a good random shit. Like if I'm in a bar and I hear some cool random song, I love that's why I love that Shazam app. Ooh, that's so nice.
Top tier.
Here it is. Yeah, Gold Coast slave ship bound for cotton fields, sold in a market down in New Orleans. Scarred old slaver knows he's doing all right. Hear him whip the women just around midnight. Brown sugar, how come you taste so good? Brown sugar, just like a young girl should. Yeah. Drums beating, cold English blood runs hot. Lady of the house wondering where it's gonna stop. Houseboy knows that he's doing all right. You should have heard him just around midnight. This song's horrific.
This song's crazy.
Brown sugar, how comes he tastes so good? Brown sugar, just like a young girl should. Oh yeah. Get down on the ground, brown sugar. How come you taste so good? Get down, brown sugar, just like a young girl should. I bet your mama was a tent show queen, and all her boyfriends were sweet 16. I'm no schoolboy, but I know what I like. You should have heard me just around midnight. This song's crazy.
He was fucking Mick Jagger was losing his mind.
This is a crazy
dude.
song. To write all this down, slave ship? Did you say slave ship?
Slave ship?
Just like a young girl ship. What?
That brown sugar you taste so
Sold
good.
in a market? What? And it scrolled down a little bit. This was another one that I'm not sure what they're saying here. Hold on. Go scroll down a little bit. Oh yeah. I bet your mama was a tent show queen.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
What the fuck does that mean?
What is a tent show queen? What's a tent show?
Well, whatever it is, she's getting fucked.
Something horrible. is
Whatever's happening in that tent.
That song is crazy. So they don't play that song anymore when you go see the Stones.
You saw him. You've seen him live,
Yeah,
right?
bro. You see them live, you can't believe they're really there. You're like, is that really them? It just seems so strange. The tent show.
Yeah, they're probably one of the, if not, no, they're definitely one of the biggest bands of all time.
Tent shows are a generic term for traveling shows that pitch tents. So a tent show queen would have been a featured performer, probably in a vaudeville act. If the song is progressing forward in time, the fact that she had a 16-year-old's boyfriend suggests she's either extremely sexually liberal or more likely prostituting herself. If she's prostituting herself, the power dynamic is reiterated, a black woman at the mercy of paying white men. Huh? What kind of fucking scholarly take on this
Yeah, I know.
song is that? What is that? What do they say? This is so weird.
No, that's fucking crazy.
There's a weird definition.
Yeah, there's a website that gives you insight on lyrics. It's crowdsourced, but doesn't necessarily mean accurate.
Oh, I see. Because I'm reading this, I'm like, the power dynamic is reiterated. What? A black woman at the mercy of paying white men.
Yeah.
She advertises herself during the show and then sleeps on the side.
What is that?
I'm not, yeah.
Those shows, though. You ever seen any of those black box shows?
People used to be monsters. They were monsters. They
Yeah,
were
dude.
monsters. Carnies would come into town, these carnival people, and rob everybody, and steal, probably murder. Just dirty people traveling around trying to stay alive and conning people out of their money. And, the bearded lady. She's got fucking glued hair stuck to her face. What did I pay to see?
They still do that shit.
Oh, yeah.
You ever heard of this place called The Box in London? And they have one in New York too, but The Box?
No.
Schultz took me, this fucking psychopath. We go to The Box. This, after we do Royal Albert Hall. It's a great night. We go to The Box around 2 a.m. That's when the show starts.
Really?
It's one of those kind of shows.
2 a.m.
2 a.m. They take your phone, they lock it up.
Whoa.
Joe, there's people shitting on stage and rubbing themselves in shit and fucking each other on stage.
What?
And putting crazy, huge dildo rods in each other.
Are you getting anybody in trouble by saying this?
No, this is an organized business.
This is
They have
legal?
multiple of these. The Box,
What?
yep, that's it.
And they were shitting on each other?
Shitting on, Joe, shitting on each other.
Did you worry about getting shit on you while you were there? How close were you to these people?
We had like a nice little booth. Luckily, we were with Schultz. We had a nice.
You gotta know when to panic and get out of the building if shit starts flying around.
Oh, dude, it was crazy.
Once people start shitting in public, like, I'm out. I
Yeah, he
can
was dressed
watch
like a
this
baby.
online. I don't have to be here in person.
That night, I was great. I was ready to fight because I was about to fight Schultz and them. I walked in, and there's trannies. There's all there's all kind of people in there.
Right.
Right when I walk in, with a big dude, dressed like a woman, but a dude. I mean, big, ripped.
Right.
Just fucking reached for my balls and dick as we're walking in. Oh, yo, what the fuck, man? I'm looking at, but nobody else sees this happen. Me and him have this, and then he keeps walking, and I'm on 10. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? You're not having fun anymore. Now I'm ready to fight. This is crazy. This guy just like trying to touch my dick. What the fuck is going on?
Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, and they think Kevin Spacey me. He fucking Kevin Spacey me.
I think amongst that community, that is a common way of saying hello.
Oh, it was working for him. I saw him later, fucking pretty much having sex with the guy later. But
You just gotta take a chance. You look like a gay guy. Is what he's trying to say.
I think he saw the flagrant. I don't know what
Thinks
he
you're beautiful.
Yeah, but
Maybe he did see that out.
that's what Schultz said later.
Probably. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But-
Probably saw that out.
I didn't know, so I'm
Let's
hot.
go.
I'm on 10, but they think I'm on 10 because everyone's gay. So Schultz and them are like, Derek, you gotta stop being homophobic, man. Like, it's just a weird show. And I was like, I'm about to fucking kill you guys. The guy tried to grab my dick. And it was just it was like a curb your enthusiasm level of miscommunication. But I mean, it was one of the, I've never been more mad.
Really?
The idea of a grown man touching my dick physically like that, it was just,
It's very disrespectful.
I don't like being disrespected like that.
It's scary.
It's scary.
Well, imagine being a woman when that happens.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That's how I felt.
That's reality. There's bad people out there. Guys grabbing asses in bars and beating up boyfriends.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful. You can run into the wrong dudes. You know how people are jealous of, other comics successful? That ain't shit compared to like the way ugly dudes are jealous of handsome guys with a good looking girl. Whew, then that guy becomes the enemy. Look at this fucking pussy. Look at this fucking pussy with that girl. Look at her, that fucking pussy. And those mutts, they all get together and speak mutt language. Yeah, fuck him. Probably from out of town. Probably from that other piece of dirt where all those pussies live. Where you from, pussy? From that pussy town?
Just another town
Down
over.
the road. Yeah. Some fucking rival baseball team that beat them when they were in 7th grade and they still haven't let go of it.
Yeah, dude, they get pissed.
Yeah, there's a lot of idiots in the world. Man. They all need mushrooms.
They all need mushrooms.
Yeah. Mushrooms would make you, you'd abandon all that towny shit. You'd be like, what? Oh, mushrooms.
Yeah, you realize how big the world is.
Yeah, I picked such a small camp. A town of 2,200 in the middle of Nebraska. Try to start fights with the people from Des Moines.
Yeah.
Fucking Iowa faggots. People are so silly. They're so silly.
God, how fast would you have kicked that guy into oblivion if you tried to grab your dick like that?
Well, you don't want to just escalate right to like extreme violence.
That's what I told Joseph. They were like, "Why were you look so angry?" And I was like, "Bro, I was on. You know, you hit that point where it's like, I'm not having fun anymore. I'm here now."
You gotta be careful, man. People get stabbed, people get
Yeah.
shot. Extreme violence should be reserved for really defending yourself.
Yeah.
You have to defend yourself.
And
You have
that-
to know you're actually being attacked.
That guy was literally trying to have this guy on Molly. I'm sure he's drugged up. You're on Molly. You're on this. You're on that. Cocaine, and you're
You should
dressed
ne-
like a fairy.
You should never exchange violence with someone unless you fucking have to. You should avoid it at all. That's why I never had any street fights. Like, avoid it at all costs. I mean, I had like one in high school. I had two in high school. They were nothing, no big deal. But then once I started competing, I was like, done with all that.
Yeah.
But if you do tune somebody up, like they die sometimes. Like what my instructor was saying is true, especially in the real world, because people fall and they hit their head on the concrete. That happens. People die like that all the time. They get knocked out, their head bounces off the concrete, and then they're dead.
Yeah.
It's like getting a giant rock dropped on your head from like a second-story building. Yeah. Think about what the Earth is. You know, like the Earth, like concrete is immobile and so hard, and all of the weight of your 200-plus pound body falls backwards, and your head bounces off that concrete, and it's the most sickening sound.
God, you hear it all the time on that mat when people get knocked out.
Yeah, but that's like way safer
Yeah.
than getting knocked out on the concrete. But yeah, I do hear it all the time. It bothers the shit out of me when I see someone's head bounce. When they get KO'd and their head bounces off the ground, I'm like, oh! Bro, did you ever see the one when Josh Emmett knocks out Bryce Mitchell? Oh my God. It's one of the worst one-punch knockouts in the history of the sport. He knocks him out, and Bryce Mitchell's legs are twitching, and he's like locked up, completely out cold. And when he goes down, now imagine someone gets hit like that on the street, and you fall back like that on concrete. So not only do you get destroyed by the punch, but then you get destroyed again by the earth, covered in concrete, bouncing off the back of your head with all the weight of your body and leverage to the back. The head is the first thing that hits. Your head flies back, and all this weight is bang. Watch this. Well, this is a crazy knockout, dude.
It's so fast you don't even really see
But
it.
look at his legs start shaking. Yeah, you hear DC saying he's shaking. He's shaking, Joe.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, flush.
Flush. And Josh Emmett is a little tank. I mean, he's 145 pounds for about 5 seconds until he weighs in. Then he probably weighs about 170, and he hits like a fucking mule. Look at this. Boom. Look at the back of that motherfucker. Look how he's built, man. And imagine how much force is involved in that guy punching you in the face.
Woo. Oh, the craziest one I ever seen live was we were together. We were in Phoenix, and it was when Chandler kicked Tony Ferguson.
Oh my God.
That's
Yeah.
one of the scariest ones. I remember because I was high too on blood sugar, so I was like,
Eat a lot of sugar?
I stopped for a year. I'm back. I'm going to
Yeah.
get back on. Listen, I eat pretty fucking good. For the last month and a half, I haven't. For a year.
Yeah, there's environmental factors, there's genetic factors,
You know,
there's a lot of different things. But, you know, if you want to take care of yourself, testosterone will actually make your body heal better. You'll feel better, you'll have more energy, your immune system will function better, everything will work better. You should have your hormones balanced. Like, we live in a time where you can get a full blood panel and find out where your nutrient levels are. And if you do it with a good doctor, what they'll do is they'll adjust your diet and your nutrients first, and then see, like in a couple months, what your levels are then, and then find out how much are you sleeping. Are you sleeping right?
Bad.
Okay, well, there's a problem there, because then your body's not recovering. So you've got to figure out a way to adjust something in your life to make you sleep better. And then after that, once they get everything all worked into its optimum rate, you're doing all the right things, and go, what are your levels now? Okay, we'll add a little bit of testosterone. Peptides that'll increase your body's ability to promote growth hormone. There's stuff like Somorelin, makes your body produce more growth hormone, so like your body repairs itself better, like when you're younger. So there's all rigorous science behind all this stuff. It's all this many stuff. I'll get Brigham to explain it to you. He'll do a much better job than me.
Who's that the guy tomorrow?
He's the guy who owns Waste Well. Yeah, he's been on the podcast. He's testified for Congress.
I'll bring the disc.
Bring the maps too. They'll love the maps.
Let me tell you something about these maps.
These maps.
I printed this shit out.
I see.
I
Looks like your printer needs ink.
first of
They're fucking
all,
pretty dull.
listen to me. Listen to me. Fix your eyes. Let
My
me tell
eyes
you.
work pretty good.
You want to see some other statistics? I got.
Oh.
All right.
What else you got?
No, I don't want to get.
Please
into
don't.
this.
Did you see those girls land today? Blue Origin. They shot that metal dick up into space. People were mad they wouldn't let the ladies drive.
Perry and someone else.
Katy Perry, Lauren Sanchez, Jeff Bezos' wife. If that thing blew up and if just Jeff Bezos' wife blew up, whatever.
Twitter thinks it's the capsule's too clean. They don't think it was real. Obviously.
Of course, Twitter doesn't think space is real. There's a whole community out there. Hashtag space is fake. Yeah. There's really retarded people who think the Earth is flat and that there's a firmament. Look at that.
They think birds aren't real.
Did they land? Is it over? They did it? Yay! How'd they land? In the ocean?
How long
do
did
they
they
land?
go for?
Parachutes.
They land with parachutes? So the thing lands with a parachute? Oh yeah, let me see. I want to see the video. Oh, that's them in the middle of the desert? Wow.
One second. That doesn't. It's got. It looks different.
That has to be crazy. Would you do that, Rich? Would you go to
What?
space?
Probably not. I
Think
don't
you
even.
think you get anxiety if you
I
went to
don't even
space?
like Ferris wheels.
Well, those two things are very different. Is that it?
Yeah, you know what?
Let's see the landing.
Whoa. How long did they go for?
Very soft landing. Look at this. Here it is. Imagine from space, and the only thing we got to land you is a parachute. Like one of the oldest technologies. Wow.
You can hear him. Blue was screaming.
Wow.
How long? How long were they up there?
I don't know. Not.
Isn't it
long.
funny that they scream? Do you think the men would scream like that? Would you and I scream like that if we landed?
Well, I don't know about you, but I know me.
Look at that one.
No.
Look at it go back. The one below it.
I'll tell you what I'll never do is clap when a pilot lands.
You don't do that?
That's his fucking job.
It's true. What if it's a female pilot? Like, phew.
I wouldn't have got on the plane. No. That's.
There was a bunch of them in a row. Where I was like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. The
Man.
Delta one in Canada where it flipped upside down.
Yeah, can you imagine?
The lady just started landing planes recently. Like, yeah, take that one out in the icy runway.
Here's 30,000. No, I'll wait for the lawsuit.
Blue Origin declined to say how much the flight cost or who paid for it. Trip came 2 months before Sanchez and Bezos to marry in Venice. Oh, they're going to marry in Venice in 2 months. Oh, they haven't married yet. Oh, okay. I thought they were married. That's hilarious. They're going to do it in Venice. Oh,
Wow.
yeah, quit. You can't tell people how much it costs because then there's going to be retards like that money could have housed so many houseless, so many unhoused could have benefited. How many poor people? There's
Yeah.
like these fucking retards like if Elon Musk gave $1 million to everyone on Earth, he'd have money left over. There's all these mathematicians out there that are fucking
Yeah.
constantly want to comment on other people's money.
And those-
How convenient.
And those people would fuck up that money too.
Yeah.
You know,
It's all the rich people are the problem. Not me. I'm rich, but I'm not as rich as the richest people. So everybody richer than me is a problem.
fucking house Jew.
All these people. All these fucking people.
He's the
Yes,
worst.
I own 3 homes, but I'm a United States senator. And they're not worth millions and millions of dollars, but everyone richer than me is the problem. It's the rich people, not the regular rich.
Oh, that tour.
There's so many
Him and AOC.
wondering. Yeah, tax the rich. Remember she had that fucking dress she wore? Tax the rich. How about
Yes, yes.
fuck off? What are you going to do with the taxes? That's the problem when Doge is uncovering $250 million that was spent on animal transgender studies where you're fucking chopping the dicks of mice and turning them into pussies. Fuck off. Fuck
Hey.
off with your tax the rich. How about you fix the world without taxing the shit out of everybody? How about
Yeah, get rid of it.
there's other ways?
I can't even tell you what I sent the other day to the IRS. It's just fucking, and I'm, just a regular fucking, so much money. I'm like,
Well, they were
what the
complaining
fuck?
about Elon. Elon doesn't pay taxes. Elon paid more taxes last year than any human being that has ever walked the face of this nation. That's a fact. So shut the fuck up. It's like it's never enough.
Well,
and people that don't have always look at people that do have like, here's what you could do with that money. Well, you could do with your money, you fuckhead. 1% in the world, you know what it is? If you're a 1%er in the world, you know what it is? $34,000 a year.
No.
Yes. If you make 34,000 American dollars a year, you are in the top 1% of planet Earth.
Get the fuck out.
That's a fact.
Oh, well, because you're comparing it to
The rest
third
of the
world
planet.
countries. Yeah.
All of the
yes,
planet.
yeah.
The whole
Of
planet.
course.
Most people are dirt poor.
Yes.
Most people.
What-
So all this bullshit about what he could do with that money. Well, you're saying that from your fucking Manhattan apartment while you're Ubering all over the place and getting fucking takeout. Shut your mouth.
Listen, when I was in Cabo working there, it was amazing. You drive to the airport, people are living in fucking shacks there, this and that.
It's horrible.
It's horrible, but look, it sounds narcissistic. I came from a major drug addict, and I turned my life around. It's all, you got to find a way to do what you can for yourself. I don't give a fuck where you are. I grew up with dudes from heroin addicts to people with 5 kids at fucking 22 or whatever. And a lot of people made it out of there and found a way to be successful.
Yeah, you can look at it that way, but the point is, like, looking at people that are uber successful and telling them what they should do with their money is just the dumbest shit. And that's why they don't want to give out how much money it costs to fly this rocket ship into space. Of course it's frivolous and gratuitous. Of course. It's a publicity stunt. They had a bunch of hot ladies. They flew them off into space, and then they landed. Yay! Now you've been to space. But basically, you're in space for like 10 minutes. That's what the flight was. Probably cost $1 billion to fly people into space for 10 minutes.
Wow. You know how many fucking clubs you could have bought me?
How many golf clubs?
How many golf clubs?
That's your thing, right? You're just a fucking inveterate golfer, right?
I love golf.
Yeah.
It's
You and
fun.
Jamie. Jamie should show you his setup back there.
Yeah.
He's got a driving computer with a big screen.
I was hitting in this morning into the screen.
You bring the screen with you?
I just went at the hotel.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
At the-
amazing.
Yeah, to Thompson. I went down, worked out
Shouldn't tell
twice.
people where you're staying.
No, I'm not staying there. I walked over there
Oh.
and used their screen.
Really?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, I bought my club. Yeah, and plus this isn't live.
You and Jamie should fucking have a little driving contest.
I can change.
Play this one time.
We played together. Oh,
You're like 2 years ago.
oh, with me, you, and Tony, right?
You won?
Yeah.
How good do you play? How good is he, Jamie?
I don't recall. I mean, I'm not good either, so it probably.
I shoot anywhere from 82 to I want to break a club.
I don't know what any of those numbers are.
82 is pretty good sometimes. I've shot in the 70s.
How is it,
But
Jamie?
now,
Pretty good?
Very good. Pretty good.
I
It's for
played.
18 holes.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, the guys who golfed all the time were the guys who weren't paying as much attention to their career. I remember thinking, like, a lot of these guys are kind of stagnant because they're golfing all day.
Yeah.
They were in Boston. Those guys would golf all fucking day long, get hammered.
That you
come
grew
to the
up with?
club. No, guys
Oh.
that I started out with.
Oh.
The golfers all wound up spending so much time playing golf. I thought it was like, wow, it's a big distraction. You should have some activities, but golf is like, how many hours?
4.5.
That's a lot of hours.
It's a lot of hours, but also too, it makes you disconnect from all the bullshit that's going on
That's the
in
good
life.
part.
You know,
Yeah.
you don't have to deal with whatever. You know.
Do you golf for comics too? So you get to
Oh
talk
yeah,
some shit?
yeah. I think I'm gonna golf if I can after I get these shots Thursday with Aaron Berg. I think I'm gonna golf.
Yeah,
with
you
him.
definitely can. You can golf on Thursday for sure. It's golfing is not going to fuck it up. It'll be sore for a day or two after you get the injections,
Yeah.
but you'll be fine. We're going to
yes.
clean you up, Rich Foss. Clean up your life.
Thank you.
We're going to do it.
half grams, and I'll sell the other 3.
I know where this is going.
Well, we did 1 or 2, and then he went to sleep. And so this is fucked up. I found where he hid it So
He didn't hide it as good as you hide your money.
no. I went in and I steal one at a time. I drove to the convenience store. I cooked it with ammonia, right? Yeah, clear ammonia.
Wait a minute, you actually cooked the coke and turned it into crack?
Yeah, with ammonia. Yeah.
Why would you do that? Is it better that way?
Oh, that's how you get freebase crack. You gotta process it. You could do it with baking soda. You could do it in a boil it in a.
Who taught you how to do this? Are you a
Who
chemist? Like, how did
No,
you
it's a
learn?
crack addict.
So,
That's
but
why
like
I gotta
other
do
crack
it.
addicts were like giving you the recipe. This is
No,
what
I
really
learned
did.
it. There's 3 ways to do it. So I did it with, or the 4 with ether, which you could blow up your house.
Right.
So I would steal a half a gram from them. I would go to the convenience store. I'd cook it, smoke it, and pour out the ammonia. I said, I can't. Well,
How do you do it?
I don't want to help. You put it.
It's the internet. ChatGPT will tell you
Yeah.
how to make. Let's
Yeah.
ask ChatGPT
No,
right now.
I'll tell you.
How do you take cocaine and turn it into freebase?
You put it in a teaspoon and you light it, and it turns into a rock.
Okay.
And then you,
Then you smoke that
squeeze
rock.
it. You squeeze and try to get the ammonia out as much as you can in the rock. So I would get the ammonia, steal a half a gram from him, go to the bright early in the morning, come back, cook it, pour the ammonia out. Well, now I would
ChatGPT, the chemistry behind it, how it's made for educational purposes only, not intended to encourage illegal activity.
baking soda. I said you could do it.
Cocaine hydrochloride powder with baking soda and water. Sometimes ammonia is used instead of baking soda, but baking soda is more common for crack. Heat the mixture. As it's heated, the cocaine bases separate from the hydrochloride and form solid rocks that float to the top. Cool and dry. This is like a recipe. Solid pieces, the crack rocks, are cooled and hardened, then dried.
So
There you go.
I emptied out the first bottle. Then there was 2 or 3 more half grams. I went and stole another one. Went back to the convenience store, bought more ammonia. After the 4th trip to the convenience store, I go, hey, listen, I got a cleaning business. We need a lot of ammonia. Well, I smoked all his coke. And all of a sudden I hear somebody yell, fuck. He woke up and saw his coke was gone.
How many hours it passed?
Probably 4.
How many trips to the convenience store?
4. And I was just drinking straight vodka, right?
Whoa.
And I'm walking home. Now I'm $250 in debt. And it was towards the end of my career. But
As a crack addict?
as a drug addict, yeah.
I like how you call it a career.
That was a crack career. Well, I think I told the story years ago, but I'll tell it. And he doesn't care because he told it in his book. So me and Frankie are doing a one-nighter. And back then, I had the car. You would pick up an act at the Improv and then go do the one-nighter in Jersey.
Right.
So we pick up this comic, little white guy, whatever. We go to our one-nighter, and we're supposed to drop him off at the Improv. And I go, hold on, I got to make a stop. And we go up to Spanish Harlem. He goes, what are you doing? I go, my sister lives here. She's not doing well. You know, there's people chasing, there's people chasing people with knives up and down the street. And I go up and buy crack, freebase, right? And the kid's like, get me home. Take me back to the Improv. What the fuck is going on? Right? Well, relax. So now we go down to the Lower East Side, and Frankie gets heroin. And the kid, now Frankie's in the back seat tying up, shooting heroin.
While you're driving?
Well, I'm driving. He's in the back shooting.
God.
And the kid is fucking scared to death. He's a little white kid.
You wanted to be Jerry Seinfeld.
He's David Spade.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's
He was
hilarious.
a little white kid from Arizona. Do you remember when he first
Yes.
started? He tells the story in his book, and I apologize to him. He goes, oh, don't worry, it's a good story, right? But we kept him hostage as I'm smoking crack and Frankie's banging dope in the car.
I heard an Otto and George story once. He's working at a club in Jersey. I don't know if he's coming to the club, and he leaves the club with the owner's daughter, and they're headed into New York. And there's another guy driving the car. He stops off at Washington Square Park, picks up a bag of crack, and starts smoking it in the car. And the girl freaks out, and he says, classic line, he goes, "What? I thought the broad wanted a party."
I just did a documentary about him. They interviewed me. They're doing a documentary on Otto and George.
Well, we did a lot of those shows, those prom shows with Otto and George.
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
He was
Genius.
I would. Yeah, but I'd drive with him to a gig, and he would go, "Do you know what George thought of today?" What, you fucking psychopath? You're
Well, he
George.
would make people pull over so he could go check on George. George is in the trunk. He would pull over and check on George. I think there's something to that. I think that dummy had a mind of its own. And it might have been he had some weird personality disorder where he put a personality to that dummy. But that dummy, when that dummy would say things, you knew it was George.
Yeah.
It didn't even feel like it was Otto. It felt like George had his own thoughts on things.
I worked with a ventriloquist once, and I go into his room on the road, and he's putting away the dummy's clothes in another dresser drawer than his. He's like putting away the clothes of the dummy. Folding the clothes. Yes, of his dummy. Here's a bit I kind of want to do. You know, back in the day, you know, when there was bank robbers, outlaws, they would wear a handkerchief and go rob a bank. Well, I want to be the outlaw ventriloquist where I go up with a dummy to put a handkerchief. This way they can't see my lips move, but I could say I'm the outlaw ventriloquist. And I could do a whole 5 minutes, and everybody's going, he must be great. I can't see his lips move.
That's good, but you're supposed to talk too. Like the part of the fun of being a ventriloquist. Like Otto would say, "I can't believe you're saying that, George.
Yeah.
How do you shut the fuck up?" The eyebrows would pop up and he'd get crazy. Like it's the banter back and forth.
I'll talk behind the mask. I'm not going to do it, but
It's not gonna work.
how come?
Terrible idea.
Okay, so I threw it out. How come there's no ventriloquist on this planet that gets along with their dummies?
Well, there's not even very many ventriloquist acts anymore. There used to be a
Yes.
bunch of ventriloquist acts. There was Willie Tyler and Lester,
Yes.
who was in L.A. There was a few.
There was Vince Antonio and George
but
from
it-
Long Island.
You know what I think it was? It's like when one guy becomes really big, like Jeff Dunham. He became the man when it came
Yes.
to ventriloquist. And then he's so popular that nobody touches it anymore. Sort of like Carrot Top did that to prop acts.
Yeah.
Like prop acts used to be. Remember when we started out?
The fucking Wid. Did you ever work
Yes,
with the
I
Wid?
worked with it. He was great.
I pulled it in fucking diaper. I mean, laundry basket shoots with fucking props.
Oh, he had so much shit. Yeah, he had like a whole trunk full of stuff that he would have to carry to
Yes.
the club. But they don't have them anymore because Carrot Top became so famous as a prop act that everybody's like, oh, that's a Carrot Top thing.
Yeah.
They just abandoned it. Like musical acts. There's no fucking musical acts anymore.
They were on ships. Gary Delano was a musical act.
But guys who've been
Yes.
around for a long time. They're legacy
Yes.
acts. There's no upcoming people right now that are musical comedians.
Well, there's no magicians. Farentino
Right.
was a magician.
Right.
There was a couple of magic acts. Like when I did one-nighters, there was jugglers, juggling Jack Schwarzy, a couple of magic acts.
There's a few magic acts still that work in California because of the Comedy and Magic Club.
Oh, okay.
Hermosa Beach.
Yeah.
Like he used to have it where you would have a magician mixed in with the comedy. Well, last time I worked there.
Okay.
When I started working there, I was like,
Do you ever remember Chips Cooney where he did the fake magic act?
No.
It was really funny. He would just do stupid stuff.
Lenny
like-
Schultz was a prop act
He
too.
was a
Remember
prop
Crazy
act.
Lenny?
He just died. Like about a month ago, 3 weeks ago. More pigs, Lenny. There were more pigs, and he was just,
He was so ridiculous.
he was nuts.
He was so funny though.
And the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah, I remember he pulled out like a Smokey the Bear doll. He was like, only you could prevent forest fires. He was, shut the fuck up. And he punched the bear. It was so ridiculous.
It was so-
And then he'd move on to something else like it never happened. It's like, it was what?
He would kill.
Kill.
And it made no sense.
No sense.
No sense.
It was just maniacal. It was just crazy.
Like-
His crazy face and crazy eyes.
Like
but it was
Cat-
really funny.
Like Carrot Top is a good prop act. If you like
Yeah.
prop acts, he's the best prop act.
Yeah.
I mean, Rip Taylor didn't like him, but, you know, Rip Taylor's from how many fucking years ago?
Rip Taylor?
Yeah, remember the gay...
Oh,
he
with the
would throw-
mustache?
Yeah, and throw this, the glitter and
How
stuff.
come they didn't like Carrot Top?
Because Carrot Top was getting real famous at the time,
was a
and Rip
hater.
Taylor was,
a hater.
yeah, was the prop act.
But it's like
weird.
most comics today are just comics. They just do stand up.
You don't-
very
yeah.
little, like all the variety stuff is gone.
Well, Frankie Pace was a prop act. He killed.
Yeah, he
Killed. You're right. There was more variety in the one-nighters and the clubs
Oh yeah.
than there is just like.
Well, in the '80s, comedy was anything. There was no definition of it back then. Like guys had like pieces of paper they'd bring on stage and hold up signs. There was all kinds of weird shit. And
Yeah.
now it's just people talking.
Oh, the guy from Boston I work with, he was so angry. He did a one-nighter. He said, fuck this at a pool hall. Bob something, he had paper signs he would pull up and do a thing on signs or whatever. He's just from Boston.
Well, there was the guy from the Blue Collar tour, Bill Engvall.
Yeah.
Right? He had signs.
Did he?
Yeah.
None of them said quit? I don't know. What do you call it? What's his name? Kills on stage. Josh Adam Myers.
Yeah.
He does kills.
Well, he
This
does
is-
that goddamn comedy jam. Where
Yeah.
He does music too, but that's a little different.
But we had him on our show, Would You Bang Him? Me and Bonnie do the show. It's fucking, you know the show we do?
No.
What we do is, Bonnie and I host it. And we have like 5 comics, and they do like 8 or 10 minutes apiece. Then we have 3 female judges and a gay judge. And after their set, they discuss whether they would fuck him or not.
Oh,
Bang 'em.
interesting.
And the gay judge is always the funniest. He's always the funniest. But some of these female judges, they're just so funny, you know. So he came out. We did it a couple. We do it at a lot of festivals, and we did it in New York. And Josh Adam Myers came out, and he sang the whole time, just fucking all over the stage. I'm going. He's got to close every show in the comedy club because nobody's following that.
Right.
There's no way
It's
at
different
the
energy.
cellar that you're going to go up after that. You
Yeah.
know. And I'm not. What he does is great. What he does is, you know.
Yeah, if
the
you were on
voice-
the road and you had a middle act, and the middle act is brought to you by the club, like they assigned a middle act, and the middle
Yeah.
act was doing music.
Or you feel like, oh man, I'm better than my friends. But when your friends are like, every time I see them, I'm like, dude, I saw you yesterday. You have 2 new bits, like, and they're good.
Yeah.
How the fuck?
But one of his bits is his fucking hair.
It's Hinchcliffe's fault. Hinchcliffe fucking keeps encouraging, like, keep it going, keep it going.
He does encourage it.
And I told you, he's getting mad pussy with the hair.
Shh, don't say that.
Oh, he's single. No, you're right, you're right.
I heard you were saying you're getting mad pissy. Really? I thought we were having a wonderful...
There's nothing funnier than when your friends pull you aside to complain about a girl that's like putting the cuffs on them.
It's the best.
Why don't you do things? Why don't you... I heard the haircut. Why don't you cut your hair better so you don't get mad pussy?
You take comedy serious, you don't take me serious.
Look at
Oh
his
my
hair.
God. He's the man. Look how smooth he looks, though. He looks dressed nice.
Smooth. He's headlining La Jolla this weekend with you, right?
Yeah, we're doing it next week, next Thursday.
Oh, next week.
Next Thursday, yeah. Going back. And then we're doing the Belly Room, too. Headline the Belly Room the next night.
Nice.
Fucking La Jolla is one of the best rooms in the world.
Yeah.
That La Jolla room is fire.
If you get it crushing in there,
Oh,
it's a
popping.
box. It's a literal box. It's
Yeah.
a kill box.
And he's cheating with his hair.
He's cheating.
He's cheating. I won't say the jokes, but these hair jokes are just too good.
Well, people lose their.
They lose their mind. It's unfortunate because they think he looks way better with his head shaved.
He's a good-looking guy.
He's a good-looking
and
guy.
since you got him in the gym, his chest is filled out. His back straighter.
I love when I come here and you two guys are in the gym and you're by yourselves. No one's pushing you. I love it. I love it.
The only thing, because we do every single thing that we did back when we were working out, but other than some days that we look at that cold plunge, we're like, Joe, you're a fucking psycho. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Not getting in cold water for you today. Dude.
I'm down to work out tomorrow if you guys want to do it. Of course. All right, let's do it.
Hell yeah, we'll get a good old school one in.
Yeah, we'll get an old school one.
I'll get in the cold plunge. If we're all doing it, I need we all to be doing it.
So my friend Sean, who trained Alex Jones, is now training Shane. He's going to start training Shane.
I heard about it. He put some gauntlets.
I told Shane, I said, don't let him kill you. Don't let him kill you. So make sure you back him off a little at the beginning.
These fucking psychopaths.
Yeah. I remember when Hassan did it with him the first time. Sean, he got him to do it. I was out of town with Schultz, and Hassan called me and goes, bro, I threw up twice. And I go, at the end? He goes, no, at the beginning. I was like, bro, get the fuck out of here.
You gotta build up to that kind of stuff. That's the thing. Like Sean's in great shape, you know. And if you're used to like coaching Navy SEALs, and you're like, come on, pussy, we gotta go. You know, like carry the fucking log.
Yeah.
Who's gonna carry the boats? That's one thing. But when you're a guy like Shane and you're on a workout on again, off again, on again, off again, like you can't hurt the guy. Like you gotta like start slow.
Yeah.
Like when we started working out, what we do? Start slow.
Real slow. I mean, you were teaching us how to use the kettlebells, let alone going super hard at it. Whereas now, me and Hassan have upped our weight because now we've done it so many, like, the rhythm of
gonna be
kettlebell.
fun.
Oh, dude, I'm excited for tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I was gonna tell you this about Hassan's hair.
That's back to it. We're seeing him on the security camera. Go, what the fuck are you doing?
I was like, he looks like a fucking psycho. I can't believe it. People love it.
They love it.
I'll never forget this. One night I'm working the back door of the Comedy Store, and this is when Theo Von had he went from a guy we all knew to he's now Theo Von. And I'm sitting back there, and he pulled in, and we're just kind of hanging at the back door, and he goes, Derek, let me tell you something, man. He goes, I was getting $2,000 a weekend before this hair. Since this mullet, I get about $40K a weekend, and walked off. And I was like, whoa, am I supposed to get him? Yeah, I literally was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
You know what, though? It's true, but it's not true. So it's true that when the haircut came, he got more money on the weekend, but it's also like the haircut freed him to be Theo Von.
I agree.
Do you remember when I remember very clearly the first time I ever saw Theo. And he was doing a bit about being on, not even a bit, he was telling a story, a true story, about when he was young, his father was really old. Like his father had him when he was like 70.
Yes.
Yeah, something crazy. And he said he remembers being on acid, lying next to his father, and realized his father's just dying. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
fucked
have you ever been around someone who's like
Really
100 years old?
Oh, yeah.
They feel like there's no life force in them.
Yeah.
Like
And they're
the
almost
life
trapped
force
in their
is slipping
mind.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, yeah.
And he's on acid, lying next to him, going, whoa, this guy's weird. Like, what a weird set. And
Yeah.
then, he was talking about all kinds of other stuff too, but it was really fun, but it was interesting, And then I remember seeing him about a year and a half later, and I couldn't fucking breathe. I was just crying, laughing. My cousin got bit by a gay guy, so we'll see. I was just like, what the fuck are you saying? What the fuck are you saying? It was the timing and the just the material was like all over the place this weird way. I love a guy like that.
Yeah. I agree. You're right. It wasn't, the mullet might have just been the little touch, but he was already
Sometimes
your favorite
you
to
need
watch.
something like that to make you feel different, Like some dudes, I think, like dressing nice on stage because they feel different. Or Bert likes to take his shirt off because he feels different. Bert could do the same set with a tuxedo on. It would be the
And
same
murder.
fun. Yeah, it would be the same fun. This just makes him feel free to let that fucking gut hang out and show everybody he's willing to drink himself to death for you.
Like he's a fucking gladiator, dude. But they love it. But I do get that feeling of like being free on stage and truly, because that does separate yourself too. Of like, oh, this is how I am.
Yeah, you got to learn how to do that some way, right? And some people it's alcohol, and some people it's the way they dress, and some people it's weed, and some people it's, they have to run, they have to jog before they do a set.
Yeah. I remember seeing Eleanor, she would do dips. You'll catch her in the back of the hall, and she's just cranking out dips. And then she goes up, but then you see when she's up, like, oh, that energy had to just, it was just coming out of her.
Yeah, it's coming out of you. Also, you want to get your heart rate up a little bit so your body is like, and your mind is like things are flowing really good. You don't want to be like sleepy and then go on stage, right?
Yeah.
That's the worst thing in the world. Or a full meal.
Yeah.
And go on stage. You want to be up a little.
I heard Bill Burr say something, but he's just one of the greatest to ever do it. But it always made me go, damn, because I always felt that way. Like, no, I wouldn't eat before a meal. I'd eat before a show. I wouldn't eat. And then I heard him say once, he was like, oh, I used to not eat before shows. And then I got older, and I'd fucking have a Thanksgiving dinner before a show and go up and talk the whole set about how I had a Thanksgiving dinner and how fucking fat I am and how gross we all are in America. And it was just like that freedom of like, wow, he really doesn't give a fuck, this guy.
Bill is also amazing at being Bill. Like, you know, like he has his opinions, what he thinks is stupid about something, and he's just like locked in. You know what I mean? Like, there's no, like some comics, like you'll see one of their hours and it's kind of like one kind of energy, and then the other hour it's like kind of a different kind of energy. With Bill Burr, it's Bill Burr. I'm Bill Burr. I'm Bill Burr. He knows how to be Bill Burr. He's professionally Bill Burr.
That's a
you know what I mean?
great
Like,
point.
a lot of people couldn't even do his material. It would just like wouldn't work.
No, and it would sound like
horrible.
hateful.
Yeah.
Like this guy fucking hates the world, dude.
But that's just the magic of becoming, you know, you, right? Like there's a few, like Attell is the absolute best at it. Attell has a timing and a presence, and then the material, the way it's written, like a lot of it on paper, you'd be like, what is this? I don't understand how this would be funny. But you see him do it in real life, you're like, oh my God, you're just crying.
Yeah, and when the crowd is more ruckus, he's better.
He's in on the corniness of some of the stuff too, which makes it even more fun. It's like there's many layers to it, and you know, some of it is just like just brilliant observations on things. Some of them is completely ridiculous. You know, it's like, it's just all that's woven into David Tell.
And he'll pull out a fucking recorder.
Yeah. Starts playing the flute.
It's crazy.
Bro, when we saw him live, I was so fucking impressed.
At the mothership, yeah.
I was
I
so
remember that.
impressed. I was like, that is so good. You know, there's another one like that, Colin Quinn.
Man, when he was here.
Bro, you see him live, you're like, wow, that was so good. Just so fun. You forget how good he is.
Yeah, and then you're learning shit. You're like, I didn't know this.
Yeah, he's like a history wizard. I remember we did Tough Crowd once, and Colin used to do stand-up to the crowd before the show would start, before we'd sit down and do Tough Crowd.
He was doing the warm-up for his own show.
Yeah, he was doing the warm-up for his own show. This one time. I don't know if he did it all the time, but he was murdering. And I was watching this, I was like, people don't know how good he is. Like, this is crazy. Because, like, there's some guys, they'll warm up for their show, and it's like a monologue. They're doing a few jokes. It's like, it's okay, but I'm not in it. I'm not really feeling it. With him, it was like I was at a club. I was like dying laughing like I was at a comedy club. I was like, people don't understand. This is, like, there's a few of these guys that just never got good at promoting, you know, and they're really good.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is the really good ones are not bitter. They're not as famous as they deserve to be. Like, Attell is like the least bitter guy alive.
Yeah, he's so cool.
Not even remotely bitter, always friendly.
Yeah, he'll talk
Always,
to like open micer all day. He'll
sweet,
yeah.
peaceful, like he's as present as you can get. And he's infinitely less famous than he should be. Yeah. He should be selling out arenas all over the world. He's that good. Wow. He's so good, dude. He might be the best comic alive. There's like a few in my mind that are like in the running for that. Like, who's the best? I guess there's no one best.
It's
You know,
sport.
because you always have to consider Chappelle. He's the GOAT of our generation. He's the most prolific. He has social impact. He's hilarious and silly, and he's a sweetheart of a person too. So you have to think that. But then I go with like sheer RPMs. I gotta go with Joey Diaz.
I knew it, yeah.
Sheer RPMs, where you just like, how many nights were we in the back of the Comedy Store? We couldn't even talk. You couldn't breathe.
You're not even laughing anymore. You're just kind of
wheezing. Everybody's just wheezing. You're
Him
making wheezing noises and slapping things.
Man, I remember back that era, seeing him and how people feel about him now, whatever. But at that time, man, when Chris D'Elia was on stage in that main room some night, it was mind blowing. The RPMs, just the amount of laughter and how fast would be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you can kill. There's a magic to that thing. I think that's hypnosis. I've always thought that. I think that, like, for a long time at least. I'm like, what is happening to me when someone's on stage and they're killing? You know, like when Shane's on fire. What is happening to me? I think I'm like locked in with their mind. I don't think it's as simple as I'm watching a show or something like that, because I love like watching a funny movie, you know, Tropic Thunder or something like that. I love laughing watching a funny movie. But I don't feel the same way I feel when a guy is in front of me on stage doing stand-up. And I think as great as specials are, they're like 60 to 70% of being there live.
Yes.
Always. Because I
Every
think
time.
there's something about being there live that's like, it's hypnosis. There's something going on where that person's making me think the way they think.
Yeah. When someone brings you into their world, and like you said, you're just living in it, and you're not even thinking about you're just like, I'm living in this guy's essence right now.
Exactly. You're living in this person's imagination, and this person's work, right? Because they set this set up.
Yeah.
And they danced it around their head, and they wrote it down on paper. That's the other interesting thing about what we do is like, there's no one way to do it. I always say my way to do it, but I don't think Bill writes shit down. I think he keeps it all in his head. Yeah, Dave mostly keeps it all in his head too.
Schultz does that too.
Yeah,
it's
a lot.
insane.
Like, that's the Jay-Z thing too, right?
Yeah.
Jay-Z kept it all in his head.
Lil Wayne, they just, it's insane. It's not like they're releasing one album.
But who's the best writer? Nas wrote everything down. You can't write Rewind in your head.
No, you can't.
No.
It's a story backwards.
It's a story backwards. It's another level. That's another level. That's like him pulling his dick out and just like slapping that shit on the table, right?
Yeah,
that song is, when you want to say like writing, like I challenge anybody in the world who's got a better written song than Rewind from Nas.
That's a great take. I would agree with that.
It's
perfectly fluent backwards. It's insane. It's a language almost.
Perfectly fluent backwards. It's magic. It's like a magic song.
Yeah.
It's so, and while you're watching it, you're appreciating the fact that he pulled it off.
Yeah.
Like while you're listening, you're appreciating the fact that he pulled off this song backwards.
Yeah, it's impressive to watch the different ways people do it. I mean, I'm biased because I tour with him, but man, when I'm out with fucking Schultz, dude, because people just see him come up with that 10 minutes up top. Like we'll go to Abu Dhabi, and you just see it, right? But man, I get to see how he gets there, and he gets to town, and no matter where we are, and all he does is he just talks to people, and he doesn't say anything. He gets a random person who's lived in wherever we're at for a long time, and he just lets them, and you just see him, kind of like, and his eyes will light up when somebody says a certain thing, and his eyes will light up, and he's like, ooh, okay, oh, that's going on. Oh, then what do they think of this? So what are the time? And he'll ask a couple questions. Yeah. And he'll do it. And I'm not talking about 30 minutes, Joe. He'll talk to somebody for 3-4 hours before the show, and just soak in all the culture and all the information. And then you see him go on stage, and it's a full, flush 10-minute chunk about a place.
Joe, he's a special talent. He's a special talent.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, he's very special. And and it's also like you got to realize he's doing these jokes in front of 16,000 people for the first time. He's got a new joke. And he's busting it out in front of 16,000 people about their area.
Yes.
Bro, that shit he did in Hawaii about the chickens being so confident.
Oh, my Joe, I was the black guy. We got out the van, and he saw the chickens run up to me. He's like, these chickens are too confident, dog. He's like, they don't know Derek. And we're dying, and it cut to, it's a form bit later that night. And it's like, this guy is incredible.
And that's another example. Like, what is he doing? How's he doing that crowd with those good jokes? Like, he's locking those people in, or you're letting him think for you. Like, come on, man, think for me. Let me have a good time and think for me.
Yeah, and not only that, but you're talking about my own personal experience in Hawaii. Right. And now you're going into your set, and you have me completely wrapped around.